Ah, welcome to the Stumble On In. I'm here to tell you some stories today. With this newfangled wizardry, I'm in your living room or on your screens. We're gonna talk a bit about some party that died at the hands of stuffed animals. But, well, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's get the party on screen and introduce them before we not kill them off. Enjoy the spooky episode together. So, without further ado, my name is Jared, and this is the Stumble On In, Crystal Keep, Here Be Dragons. We are on our spooky episode, and this is incredibly fun because shenanigans. Why not? We have Sarah, Glenn, Jared, and a dragon in place of Lindsay this week. We had to find a fill-in, so found a dragon. But yeah, we're here. We're having fun, and we're gonna tell you some spooky stories. I'm gonna go through a couple announcements, but before I do, players, is there anything big happening that the rest of our fan base needs to know about? Do we have any upcoming streams? Any fun going-ons? Any Halloween costumes you're gonna put on Instagram? Even nothing.
I mean,
What's Instagram?
my stream has moved to Mondays. It's no longer Wednesdays.
Yeah.
Right.
We're streaming next Saturday.
Oh yeah, because this is our 5th week. We have a wonderful stream next week as the first of the month. Pay no mind. We had a little surgery here on Zelda. She lost a little weight, but she's just fine.
She looks
Yeah.
spooktacular.
Spooktacular, right there.
She looks thin. She lost some weight.
She lost some weight, yeah. Yeah, so now that we're ready for our shenanigans, happening in about 7 minutes on Instagram, our giveaway is going to start. It is a holiday, meaning Christmas, winter, whatever you celebrate in the winter in the Northern Hemisphere, summer, I guess, in the Southern Hemisphere, December time frame. We are giving away a wonderful... Oh, boop the DM already. Oh. Boop the DM. Thank you for that. We are giving away a Critical Treasures Advent Calendar. This is pretty awesome. It's an Instagram giveaway. All you have to do is go on Instagram, like the post, comment a couple friends in, and make sure you're following us and Critical Treasures, and you get a chance to win a wonderful Advent calendar. It is actually customized to us. This is a special one that she isn't selling in her shop. You're gonna win a special Here Be Dragons wonderful prize. So I'll let that sink in. Take a breather. Pick up the popcorn you just knocked off the couch because you're so excited. Glenn, pick up the popcorn that you knocked. Yeah. So, the dog's got it. Don't worry about it. Yeah, we're gonna kick off with our spooky episode then. Take a look at our sponsors. They're on my left on the screen. Just on the other side of our player card. You'll find them in chat. There's a bunch of great groups of people that are doing awesome things in the gaming and D&D communities, and they have product. Critical Treasures we've called out, but there's Heimdall Dice, Encounter Plus, and Caffeinated Kobold. Learn more about them as you can. Anyone have any last words before I kill you off on this spooky episode?
Do it.
Do it. Ooh. Challenge accepted. I'm taking nothing
Ready.
else here. So, as we had left our party at the end of our last session, they had gotten into the king's inner sanctum, the special magical storage in this castle that, was more or less unknown. According to Electrum, Lock, Stock, and Barrel, and the map that the party had seen, there was nothing known about this room. A magical door had let them through, and when I say them, it was the presence of the king had requested Corrigan to join him for lunch. And while Corrigan had joined, Eljor had followed as well. So Eljor and Corrigan were roaming the halls, more or less, trying to figure out where the king was taking them. Pushing a few stones on the wall had opened up, and they had entered a hiding place. Now, out in the main foyer, we had Lily and Fizz just chilling, having some lunch, not allowed to join the king. But they had gotten bored, and so what do bored kobolds do? They go investigate, quote unquote, get into some trouble. Now, Lily and Fizz had roamed around a little bit and then decided they're gonna find where Eljor and Corrigan.
To be clear, we weren't bored and aimlessly roaming. We were searching with intention.
Searching with intention. Sorry. I mean, I just play kobolds and Electrum's a kobold, so in the back of my head I go, ooh, shiny. Apologies for assuming ooh, shiny. But with the intention of finding where Corrigan and Eljor had gone, and to learn more about this inner room that they had been tasked to get something from, which was a magical rope. A rope that worked without needing to be fastened to anything, meaning you could climb it, I guess, without tying it to a tree, a trunk, a stone, whatever. It's gonna be useful, I guess, in their heists. But yeah, they're making their way in. And just as we had left at the end of the episode, the king had opened a large metal chest, one that this item was to be placed in. And he threw a rope out into the hallway, or at the edge of the doorway, where Fizz was standing with her small cloak of hidey thingies, shimmering just in the hall, and within her bag of, I guess, holding? Of
Things holding.
things holding. Yes, it's not just a bag of holding, it's a full room now. Lily had sat. Now, some of you go, hey, bag of holding, they only have 10 minutes of air in there. No,
It's a
this
bag
one
of things holding.
has a magical plant that lives in the center, which provides enough oxygen. So Lily, sitting within this bag, not knowing what's going on outside, a rope dropped at Fizz's feet. Fizz quickly dumps it into the bag and it drops down right next to Lily. But another item gets thrown out of this metal case in front of Fizz, and it's a blanket that's really tattered and worn. And as it hits the ground, it pops up into a small pup tent. The pup tent is facing a little bit away from Fizz, but a foul stench starts coming out of the tent. And the tent is all tattered, and the front door gets kind of pushed open by a tattered cloth hand that reaches out. Some grumbling and moaning heard inside. This is where we are left off. Now, at this point, the king, Eljor, and Corey can hear a little bit of a moan behind them, as if some undead creature may or may not be in their midst. It's very faint, as if it's muffled behind a pillow or a cloth. Lily, unfortunately, can't hear that within the bag, but this is where you all step in. What is it that you do, party?
I sit in the bag.
I sit in the bag. I play canasta.
With yourself?
I don't know, I've never
What are you,
played it.
106?
Hey now,
Maybe.
hey now. Just because some of us know how to play canasta.
Do I remember? This is just for me. Did they take our weapons when we came in?
They took a couple weapons.
I know they did at the.
No, they didn't at this
No.
one. No, you've
Yeah,
lucked
they
out.
did at the party. I wasn't sure if they did here.
Yeah, they've let you be. For the most part, it seems that the king has been okay with those entering the grounds and has either vetted you or has something up his sleeve if you decide to be a jerk, or he just doesn't care. For all you know, he's just hanging out there, just being a dude.
Cool.
Being a dude.
Being a dude.
What's up, dudes?
So,
Go ahead.
go ahead, Eljor.
What is that?
the king looks around. Did you guys bring any friends back here? He sloshes the wine that's in his hand, sets it down, and looks at it. Stay, I'm finishing you in a minute. And he turns around, and the king is obviously already back on the sauce, enjoying his riches. And as he turns, he looks at the pup tent and grabs Eljor on the shoulder. Did you put that there?
No, sir, I did not.
Turns and looks at Corey. What magic is this? This is interesting.
I thought we were. I was with you. What are we? I thought we were looking in his books.
Well, we were, and I threw a few things out, and that can't be.
Did you put it there?
That can't be the blanket I just threw out. And he starts to take a step forward, and another couple hands kind of reach out, all small, like stuffed animal hands of some sort. But they're tattered, and the fluffing coming out of them is not white and fluffy, but like black and gooey, kind of dripping out of these creatures. And the moans become multiple. It's almost as if they're about ready to burst through the door.
Should wash your blankets more.
Yeah.
At that moment, the king steps back just a few steps. Do you fellows know how to fight, right? Because he looks down at his sides, not carrying a weapon, not carrying any form of weaponry whatsoever, not even a dagger in his boot. As he kind of looks down at his boots, he seems to be defenseless and relying on Corey and Eljor, not noticing the shimmering spot in the hall next to the tent that is Fizz.
Well, that's why I keep Eldor around
All right.
to fight.
I crack my neck, pull my weapon out, and just kind of be at the ready, I guess. Come through.
I'll pull my little antler dirk out and just have it at the ready.
All right. As you do, you notice that the door kind of gets pulled open on this tent, and the door is facing away from your general direction, not directly away from you, but like a counter angle. And as the door gets kind of pushed open, the flap moves forward. One stuffed creature comes limping out, and it's missing an arm, and it looks like it's been sewn together about 50 or 100 times, tears in all directions. And as it comes out, the button eye on its face drops to the ground and rolls towards Eljor, and as it bumps into Eljor's boot, it actually kind of disintegrates into a couple pieces as it's tattered and falling apart. This creature stumbling towards Eljor, and you can see some of the seams pulling apart and the black ooze of filling kind of dripping out in all directions.
I mean, I'm gonna try and stab it.
All right. Roll to hit.
I'm like crouched down,
Mhm.
right? Because I'm like hiding under the little cape for Corrigan. But I like look into the bag and I'm like, things are getting a little weird out here. There's like arms reaching out of a blanket. Just so
What do you mean weird? What do
There's
you mean
arms.
arms out of a blanket?
There's arms reaching out from the blanket.
Which blanket?
The one in the chest with the rope that I just dropped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the blanket's alive?
No, but there's arms coming out of it that aren't the blanket.
Okay. Do you need me?
I don't.
I'll come up there.
I know. Let's just wait a minute because they don't know we're here yet. So
Okay.
I want to see how this plays out.
Okay, I will be ready.
Okay. Actually, I'm gonna take the bag and I'm like, okay, and I like tilt it like slowly so she can like look out.
So through the top of the room, you don't feel the room of the bag like tilt or turn. You just see kind of the viewport turn, and you get, as you're looking up, you get a view kind of from the floor looking at this tent, and you see little stuffed arms dangling out as well, and you see the backside of this creature that had walked out and started stumbling towards Eljor.
So I see his butt.
Yes, you see butts.
Butts.
It's a butts of these little stuffed creatures. Dog butt.
Butts,
There we
butts,
go. Yeah, so you see the rear side of this stuffed goblin-like creature.
Okay.
All right. So, what was the roll to hit there, Eljor?
11.
11. As you stab forward, you just kind of pierce the side of this creature, and black ooze drips down your sword and down the front. And as it hits the ground, it kind of turns into like a really dark cotton color, like a filling from a stuffed animal, but in a very dark brown, almost black
But
nature.
Tar, ichor, or something like that.
Yeah, so it's like it's oozing and goo on them, and then it drops and turns into fluff on the floor. But still not the prettiest of fluff. It doesn't seem to do much more than kind of walk forward on your sword as if it doesn't seem to have felt it.
I mean, I'm gonna pull my sword back and say, Your Majesty, I think we should leave.
He looks around and grabs his wine and kind of looks towards the door, wary of going near the tent, and the tent is right in the doorway at that point. If you think
then where am
you think
I?
it's best, you're next to the doorway. You're like just stepping in, and the tent is like in front of the path out.
Okay.
If you think it's best, then well, we must go by that thing. Shall we try around the backside? And he takes a big swig of his wine. You hear a big huff as he's nervous for what's going on now.
I mean, pretty sure fluff burns. Yes, we just burn
Well,
it.
yes, we could try that indeed. Let's. Do you have a match? And he starts feeling around for one on him.
Can I borrow your? Can I borrow the rest of your wine, my lord?
Oh, okay. And he reluctantly hands it over to you, and kind of watches longingly as you grab the goblet from him.
I want to splash the blanket or the thing with the wine, and then
Okay.
blast it with a produce flame.
All right. So you fly over and splash the tent-like structure, correct? Or the creature walking towards.
The tent that it
Okay.
came from.
Yeah, and then you blast with produce flame. The flame rises up and turns a bright green. Produces very little heat, and it starts to fill the room with smoke that's dense and settles at your feet. And the smell is a bit like burning hair. So it's very grotesque, and it fills the room, settles at your feet, producing a bright green pyre that stands tall and makes it hard to see over and through the tent. So Fizz, you aren't able to see what's going on the other side because of this. You can see the front of the tent where some of the smoke seems to be kind of billowing into and getting sucked into the tent as if there's a draft pulling it in. From the other side, it's much the same. Corey, you are caught by the flame just a little bit as it comes up, and it doesn't sear you or singe you as a flame you would expect, but it hits you almost like a splash of acid, and it sizzles. You don't take any damage from it, but it stings for sure as it kind of splashes up against your leg, um, as the fire had burst immediately from the top.
Well, like, I know that they said they were gonna come towards the door, and I know I'm standing, like, in the door, so I'm gonna, like, I've got the bag, I'm crouched down with the cape, so I'm kind of, like, slowly, like, crab walking, like, shuffling around, because I'm gonna go, like, around the tent,
Alright.
basically. And then I'll, like, follow them out.
Around the back or the front of the tent?
Well, I'm going around the back to
Okay.
go up to the front so that I can follow them out so I don't get, like, bumped into.
All right. So as you're shuffling around the back of the tent, a couple of the holes in the tent, a little paw kind of reaches out and smacks at you, and you hear behind. I need you to roll a dexterity to make sure you can get out of the way without dropping the cloak.
It was just a check, or was it?
Yeah, it'd be a check.
It's a 3.
It's a 3. As you kind of step off to the side, it grabs and gets a hold of the cloak on you and it shows off a little bit of your hindquarters. So there's a kobold butt sticking out, and some of the bag. And the rest of the group, as you're getting around, sees this kobold butt kind of poke out. And the king, what's that over there? It seems like another creature coming from the other side.
My lord, I believe maybe the wine has done something to your eyesight. I don't see anything.
I'm like tugging the cape back down.
Yeah, it only takes a moment for you to tug the cape back down. The king blinks heavily and like leans in and puts an arm on Eljor's shoulder and kind of leans on him. Well, maybe, this wine is taking hold a little bit strong because it's no longer there. I swear I saw like a dragon or something.
Oh,
Some
dragon
king
mine.
doesn't even know the difference between a dragon and a kobold.
As a reminder, this king is in his early 20s, barely fit to rule. He hasn't been in battle, as far as you can tell. He seems to be very light in the muscle category. So, with Fizz hidden back a little bit more, these creatures now start to slowly pour out of the front. 5, 6, 10 of them. They begin to wander aimlessly in all directions, a few towards your group, a few towards like leaving the door of this room, and a couple just kind of start moving in amongst the gear and items and tables in this small room. None of them seem malicious in going for anything specifically, but they're all just kind of spreading out and bumping into things and wreaking a little havoc and making a mess with all of their oozy, drippy cottoniness.
I'm just gonna stand between the king and them, and if any of them get close enough to be within attack range, I'm gonna hit them.
All right. Lily, as you're sitting in the bag, the giant stone with the eye in it, the eye kind of turns and looks at you, and then looks out the door, and in the back of your mind you hear, "What is this? This is new and terrifying."
I wish I knew.
Nothing is said back to you, and there's no information given. It seems this is the first time this eye is seeing it as well.
Mm-hmm. Does it still count for my wish?
You may ask again.
I may ask again, or I may ask a different wish.
Nothing said to you on that. It seems the eye is of few words.
It's so mysterious. Eye, great eye. Well, How about I try to wish for something else? Let's see. I wish for boots of elven kind.
Boots of elven kind. Your backpack kind of shifts a little bit, as if something was jammed into your bag. But it feels like it's at the very bottom of your satchel.
I'm going to check it.
All right, so you're digging through your backpack, and outside, where all the creatures are fumbling aimlessly, Fizz, you're starting to slowly get surrounded by them. They don't seem to know your presence, but they're close to bumping into you.
I have a thought. Oh, so I bought some of that rope, or got some rope from Electrum.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna try to like get some out and cut off a portion of it.
Okay. Was that stored in the bag that Lily's in, or in something else?
Yeah, it would be in there.
So Lily, as you're digging through your bag, Fizz like pops her head and arm in and starts digging for something on one of the shelves near the entrance. And Fizz, you see Lily like digging to the bottom of her bag right now.
Excuse me. What do you need?
Excuse yourself. This is my house, for one. For two, I'm just grabbing my rope and getting a chunk of that.
Oh, here it is.
It's getting kind of crowded out here.
Then I give her the rope.
All right. So tossing it up, Fizz, you're able to catch the rope that Lily tosses to you.
Okay. I'm like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I like count out how much I need, and then
All
I
right.
like cut it.
All right. So you cut a chunk off of that rope. Lily, you get to the bottom of your bag, and wrapped in a fine paper seems to be a pair of slippers or boots, roughly about your size, but it seems to be wrapped as like a gift or a present.
Ooh, are they what I think they are?
Potentially, if you decide to open them. But while you're opening this gift, we go back outside to the rest of the group. These creatures just continue to pour out, and then at some moment after you see about 50 or 60 have poured out and have filled sort of the room and started wandering down the hall, it sounds like you hear a muffled scream from within this tent. Seems to be a younger person. Can't quite tell gender from it, but it seems like potentially a person is in distress within this little fort.
The guy or the pillow zombies coming out, are they filling the room that the King Eljor and I are in, or filling into the hallway?
Both. They're filling kind of aimlessly within the room, and they're getting slightly closer to you within a few feet, but they don't seem to come at you with intention. They just kind of mosey past and are moving about, bumping into things with their little arms out. And they're going down the hall as well.
Okay. Corrigan's gonna turn to the king. Be like, my lord, for your safety, perhaps you might want to get into that box that we took the things out of. We can protect you in there a little bit easier.
Oh, okay. Well,
That way they won't bother you.
As long as you make sure to let me out of it. And he like dives into the box and grabs the lid with very little thought and just kind of pulls it down on him, and then lifts it up and you hear, "Thank you!" And the lid slams down shut. The heavy metal top is now on top of the king. As far as you can understand from these creatures, they shouldn't be able to get it open without sheer numbers. None of them seem to be strong enough to approach and open. So you guys have a little bit more of the advantage at the moment.
Do I see him get in there?
You see a bit of a shuffle, and you see the king kind of drop down into or behind something. So you may assume he climbed into a chest or behind a chest.
Would I understand that it's a chest that wouldn't be opened easily?
You may have seen some glints of metal, but I don't know if you know fully that he's like protected or that things are safe. You just know that he kind of ducked out of view.
Okay.
So, the scream within the tent, the king now in the metal chest, Fizz is getting some undetermined length of rope and doing something with it. And after the scream, all of the little zombie goblin things stop. And then they turn, and whoever's closest to them, they just kind of turn and face and just stand and stare with their lifeless button eyes kind of dangling in place. For those that have it, some don't have it. Some are missing arms. Some are missing heads altogether. But they all turn and stop for a couple seconds in a somewhat menacing mode, it seems.
So wait, they're staring at each other, or they're staring at
No,
them?
they're staring at whoever is closest to them.
Yeah, I wanted to
Pretty
attack
easy.
them when they were within range. So
Yeah.
if they're within 5 feet, I'm hitting them.
There are a couple. One kind of steps forward out of the stopped group, and steps towards Eljor, and is now within distance of hitting.
I got a 9.
9. You swing just over the head of this one, and as you swing and your blade barely misses, much of the group just starts to slowly move towards you in lockstep. And as they do, they bump into Fizz a little bit and kind of shove her around as they're just kind of pushing past. A few of them stop briefly and seem to try and understand what they're navigating around, and then just push through. Fizz, one dexterity check for me to see if the cape stays on.
It's a 17.
A 17. So you're figuring out your rope, and then you grab the cape and you hold it on, and you keep figuring out your rope, and these things are walking past you at about your height.
Okay, well, I have what I need and I cut it, whatever.
Okay.
So I like lean in and I go, "Hey, I think the fight might be starting now. If you wanna come out or not, I don't care."
Is that for me?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
she
leaned
leans
into
into
the.
the bag, yeah.
Oh, okay. I was like, where's she leaning? Yeah, let me out. I'll help.
As she's saying that, you've just opened your beautiful elven boots that may or may not be what you expect them to be. You have to find that out.
Okay.
But they're a beautiful elven tailor-made about your size.
Okay. I'll try to attune to them later because I don't
Okay.
have time now.
I'll be
You
in the
don't
bag
attune
for
to
a
boots
bit.
of Elvenkind.
You don't. You just pop them on.
All right, I'm putting them on.
There it is. So it takes
Gotta
a
go
few
quick.
seconds. It takes a few seconds to kick off your boots and pop the other ones on. Fizz has leaned back out of the bag. Another couple of these creatures are within reach of Eljor. Do you want to keep swinging or?
Yeah.
All right. So
they're blocking the exit, so I can't get out at this point. So
yeah. So let's do 3 rolls to hit as they just wander aimlessly at you. Arms start to kind of stretch out as they get closer. And while those rolls are being done, Corey, are there any actions you wish to be taking?
I'm trying to figure stuff out. I'd probably just throw flames at them as they get closer.
Okay. You can roll 2 rolls to hit here as well.
I got a 12 and a 9.
12 and a 9. You lop the head off of one of these, and it kind of bursts onto the floor, the ooze again turns into fluff, and the body of the creature still keeps walking towards you a little bit, and then just slumps over. And the second one you narrowly miss.
19 on the first throw.
Okay.
And then the second throw, I probably hit Eljor in the head with a 1.
Ooh. So as you're firing, let's see here. You actually end up hitting right at the feet of our little hidden disguised kobold, and a burst of flame pops up right underneath the cloak, and kind of catches a little bit on Fizz's garments. Fizz, you get a little bit of smoke and flame start happening.
We're not in battle, right?
You're not in battle at
So
this
I'm
moment.
like, hey man, watch what you're doing as I jump up and like shake the cloak around.
So you guys get a guaranteed view of the kobold in your midst. The other fireball hits and explodes one of these creatures. They just kind of turned into a bunch of little fire embers floating down. They're very old, very fragile, and burn easily, it seems. Again, as Fizz reacts, and Lily is starting to come out of the bag there, another scream is heard within the tent.
What is going on out here?
He's throwing fireballs at me.
We didn't know
Why?
you were
There's-
there.
I mean,
Inside
you're
of your
invisible.
semi-invisibility.
Can't.
Well, surprise!
Maybe don't be creeping around.
I got the rope, by the way.
Awesome.
What's
I
going
do
on
the
inside the
shush
tent?
noise.
Oh.
Just shh, and then I just point at the box.
Did you put the king in a box?
Yeah, he's safe in there from these goblins, from these
Put himself there, though.
whatever these things.
Okay. I was
Gotta
worried
protect
that
him.
you just shoved him in there.
Oh no, he dove right on in.
Even got him to
We
put
got-
down his bottle. It was quite a feat.
We gotta get him to safety now too.
All right. So, has this tent always been here? Did it just like pop out of nowhere?
It was a blanket, and he threw it, and it hit the ground, and then arms started reaching out.
A few more of those zombie stuffed goblins close in a bit where Lily and Fizz are, with the new voices and visuals they have in the room. They have additional targets. So there's about 4 goblins that have turned and faced Fizz and Lily and are moving in towards them. Do you
Can I
wish
make
to?
a check to see if I know anything about this creature?
Yeah, you can do a nature, you can do a history. Because they look more man-made, you would probably want to roll on history as what you would
History.
recall on. If you wish to roll on nature, you can. If you believe you've seen these in the wild. Up
All
to
right,
you.
9.
9 on
I
history.
rolled history.
Okay. So as you think back on like what these things could be, to the best of your understanding, they seem like they could have been stuffed toys in a shop. You recall as a youngster seeing a few stuffed toys in a shop window that had similar shapes, and the shop was a strange place. It had all sorts of like baddies. There were some orc posable figures, there was some goblin stuffed animals, there was a couple like dragon toys that you could hang from your ceiling, is what you recall from that shop. And so these look
Okay.
somewhat similar to the goblin toys you'd seen.
Okay. Should I do an arcana check to understand if maybe this is magical?
You could, if you want to check on potential reasoning as to what they could be doing, seeing that it may be a toy and moving about. Arcana could give you some
Yes.
information.
Let's give it a try. 18.
18. So using your knowledge and understanding of them potentially being a toy, you are kind of assuming there is some magical force behind them being animated or moving, that they probably shouldn't have a life force on their own. So to you, you know that there's a source, and wherever they've come from, there's a source of this life that they have. You don't know quite what that magic would be. It's probably a mixtures of a few magics, dealing with life and illusion and whatnot. So to you, you just know something is fueling them.
Okay. Can I take a look inside the tent?
Yeah, you would have to push around a couple of these creatures that are kind of coming in at you. So if you wish to engage in a combat, attack them, or move past them, it's up to you how you deal with that.
Do they have weapons?
No, they're all just kind of wandering and kind of shambling towards
Okay.
each of you.
I'm just gonna push past them.
Okay. I need you to make one strength check as you push past and they kind of grab out at you.
Sounds good. Strength check it is. Just a second. Nine.
9. With a little bit of effort, you're able to push past. They don't seem to have much hold on you, but they do kind of stick with you. Like they catch a hand on like your cloak and get pulled a little bit, so they're right behind you in your movement. As you peek into this tent, a very dense fog lays within it. The tent itself on the inside is thousands of feet deep and wide, from what you can understand. The pathway in looks as if you are going to step on like a really old cobble pathway, but all of the stones seem to be made of pillows. Everything seems to be stitched. The dark, dense forest that you're in seems to be made out of stuffed characters or creatures of some sort. Some of the trees moving a little bit, oddly, as if maybe a breeze had passed through. The moon up in the distance that glows, you almost believe to see there's stitching around that. This world within this blanket tent is not of flesh and bone and blood, but of stitch and cotton and fiber.
Okay. Is there anything unusual, like, I guess, are there any markings on the walls or anything like that?
Within, it looks like you're on a cobblestone path that leads into a dense forest. It doesn't seem to be any like walls with markings on them. Some of the trees seem to be old and decaying and falling apart. There's a sign about 60 or 70 feet in that you can tell looks like a crossroads path at a split. There is a fog that kind of ripples through and makes it hard to read what the sign says. But you can tell it's got stitching letters on a couple posts pointing in two directions.
Okay. Do I still hear the noises that I heard while I was outside the tent?
You do hear another scream in the distance as you're peering in. The rest of you hear that. It's a little more muffled now to those of you not next to the door of the tent.
Okay. I'm going to step back out of the tent.
All right.
And join the party.
As you do, there's only a couple more goblins that are near your group, but you hear them wandering down the halls, clanking into things. You hear a scream down the halls as if one of the staff has encountered these creatures. And it's fairly quiet enough for you to have a conversation, as all of you are now standing there, able to talk.
So, I'm not super concerned with these little creatures. However, I do think we should contain them and try to put them back into the tent.
Come on, is that really our responsibility? He has an entire guard. They can't deal with some stuffed animals.
Yeah.
What if we just, throw the tent away?
There you
Without
go.
the creatures in
Cut
it?
at the source.
I don't know. I mean, it'll stop more from coming. Maybe.
That's true.
Then we could
We
burn
just
them
beat
all.
them
No.
I mean, didn't you kill one? Or burn one or something?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
burned one. Little singed fluff. Never hurt anybody.
And a head was
That
taken
damn
off
eye.
of another.
Alright, so let's figure out how to close up this tent then.
What was screaming inside there?
No clue. Once you get in there, it's just a dense forest. Goes on for miles.
But we should find out. Because if someone's in there screaming, they might need help. They might be trapped in there.
I have
Or
to ask.
it could be a trap.
I have to ask. Just a dense forest that goes on for miles within a tent. Have any of you seen such a thing? I mean, I know we've encountered now a bag of holding that someone has spent time in. Is that just something that rolls off of Lily's tongue like nothing happens? Or
No, it feels like a
it's no
trap,
big
and I
deal.
don't want to step
think
into
so.
it.
That's what I
That's
think so.
That's the reason.
I think I'm quite familiar with pocket dimensions.
I'm quite.
I mean, I did
fascinated
just
by
get
the
out of a
concept.
bag.
It's interesting, but it just feels like a scream from within a terrifying zombie-stitched world. Like it's just, I feel like it's just drawing us in.
No problem. Nothing problematic here.
I just think there's probably some, I don't know, plot thread that we could tug on there, maybe for the next hour and a half, 2 hours, if we go into there.
I mean, this is your
We could
world.
get
I've
stuck
got
in there.
I've got scary things in all directions. This is the spooky episode. You guys choose to do whatever. Something scary will
Ooh,
happen.
spooky potatoes.
Spooky.
I don't
rocks are
know. I
coming
mean,
alive.
these characters are pretty spooky in here. These little teddy bears, dragons. No, but I
Dragons?
think we should. Yeah. Didn't you say they were dragons? How
No,
do
they were talking
No.
about me.
No one did.
No,
Oh, okay.
you recalled that you saw stuffed goblins in a shop that had other creepy creatures that were toys when you were a child, when you used your history check.
Okay.
So there's no
I must
dragons,
have filled
just
in the
stuffed
dragon
goblins.
part then. Okay.
She bonked her head coming out of the bag. She like tipped down onto
Sure
it.
did.
All right, well, if we
okay.
gotta go save somebody from here, then we. If I die, it's your fault, and then I'm just gonna go straight in.
You're just gonna dive straight into this.
You're
tent.
just gonna go into the tent?
Yeah. No reason
As-
to delay it. If we're gonna
think
try
it's
and
a
help this
trap.
person.
Eljor, as you go diving in, the mustiness that was in this room goes away, and it's a chilly, cool evening as you step inside. As you look around, what you had entered through seems to be a small tent on the other side. So there's a small tent pitched in the middle of this this walk path, and it's in the middle of this forest. It seems to be an older path, one that you might have encountered in travels before that isn't widely used. So there's some overgrowth coming up along the sides of the road. But this overgrowth is yarns and woven materials, not like weeds and leaves and things, but they have a very similar nature in what they look like. So you might see some of the standard weeds, but in a woven state, like your grandmother might have woven into a
Everything's
quilt or something
doilies.
for you. Yeah, doilies and whatnot. But
We're just seeing Little
entirety-
Big Planet too, a little bit.
yeah, basically, it's handcrafted and definitely not of your world.
I love
The entirety of this place is utterly different. You've stepped into a different place. It's not just like living within the same room. So it's a different space, a different time. It's cool. There's a couple crickets in the background, and then the scream you hear up ahead at the split of the signposts, about 50-60 feet, is where the road splits, but it seems like that scream is just past that somewhere.
Okay, I'm just gonna kind of mark that in my head as
Okay.
where I heard it, and then wait for anybody else to come through.
So all of you see Eldor just kind of dive into the small pup tent. The speed and momentum that he had, you would have expected him to kind of bust out the back side, because this tent is barely big enough to hold him, but he doesn't.
I mean, I didn't say don't use caution. Who's next?
Who's next?
I
Okay.
guess
walk
I'll
in.
go. Yeah, well, let's go.
Fizz and Lily go in side by side, it seems,
Here's the
as
science.
for the science.
For science.
As you enter, Fizz, the bag at your side, shakes and rattles and starts to hum as you've entered in. And as you do, there's a force that feels like a gust of wind that pulls Corey in and twirls them around. The entirety of the tent kind of collapses in around you, and as you all step into this new world, you hear, and the tent behind you just kind of goes up into the air and just disappears into nothing. Not even a fiber is left in the air, and you're stuck on this road. The bag at Fizz's side was an older burlap look. It is now looking like a very crocheted pinks and purples and blues, like baby's first crocheted bag mentality. But it's still puffed up and still kind of blowing air out of the top of it. So it changed
I'm
its
like
look.
checking on it, like
Everything inside
What the heck?
everything inside seems fine. Aside from there's a pristine stuffed goblin sitting down in the corner, as if it was just finished being made, and is sitting there lifeless, not like any of the others that you'd seen
in my bag or in the
in your
woods.
bag.
I poke it.
As you lean in and kind of poke it, it's barely within reach. It's got a firm plushiness to it, and it doesn't move, it doesn't react. It just sits there as like one souvenir you would have picked up and are bringing to a friend or something.
I'm like, are you alive?
Nothing
No.
is said. You are all seeing like Fizz leaning into her bag, and you hear her mumbling, "Are you alive?"
Is everything okay?
What?
You were
Wait, is that a
leaning
bag
into
of
your
holding, right?
bag.
We should have left it outside. I'm surprised we didn't get thrown into the astral sea.
No, everything is fine.
Odd indeed.
Except now there's a goblin in there, but it's not like a real goblin. It's like one of those zombies, but it's like not a zombie. It's like
You pull it out.
new, but it doesn't move.
What? Also, Corrigan, should we be worried about the king? We could be in here for a while.
Yeah, I didn't, I was going to let him know before I came in, but then the thing grabbed me.
Is he
We'll
locked
have
in
to-
there?
No, he should be able to get out himself.
He
Okay.
didn't seem very smart, so I think he's fine.
Well, he didn't get hit with a fireball.
Yeah, but he climbed in a box and shut himself in.
And we climbed into a weird blanket tent.
Yeah, we sure did.
But it's
Now
not
we
a
live
box.
here.
So, is there any like symbol or stitching on the wall or anything that might suggest that the door was there, so that if we come back to this place, we would understand that there's a door?
No, so
I don't
from
think
all
there's
you
a
can
wall.
understand is what you had come through was a mirror tent. That tent popped up into the air and disappeared, and if you walk towards it, you can continue to walk down this road deeper into the dark forest behind you.
Okay.
So there's no wall.
No wall.
This is
no.
a forest.
You're
Okay.
in
You keep saying
essentially.
the walls, and I'm like, is there?
You're essentially in a different plane. It feels, or a mirror plane of some sort.
Okay.
Wait, we're in a mirror?
I heard the scream from over there.
Let's go.
Ooh, lead on.
This is why we came in here. Yeah?
You got those fancy boots. You can be quiet. Why don't you lead us
Yeah.
off?
You
Uh,
recognize my boots? Aren't they nice?
Yes, my people made those.
They are wonderful. I've heard good things, and here I am trying them out for myself.
Here I am trying them out. As you all start to walk forward, you do notice that because the ground is plush, it's like walking on a very thick carpet. You do know that
Like all
you
of the
can be
70s.
fairly stealthy. Yeah, it's basically like carpet out of the 70s, correct? The shag rug.
Yeah.
You're able to walk, and you notice that you are not making a lot of noise as you step. So, for mechanical purposes, you'll get a bonus to your stealth if you want to roll on that. But for your characters, you know that you can be sneakier, much easier.
Great.
And then there's
Um,
those who can flutter and fly. Sorry, you don't get a bonus for wing flappies.
That's
You
all
don't
right.
get a bonus for being awesome.
I'm not sneaky.
Unless you walk. But yeah, are you trudging forward towards where the screams were heard? Right. As you move through this
Yeah.
forest, the evening is cool. You feel a light breeze come through. The trees up above have yarn hanging down on some that sways in the wind, and some really beautifully stitched leaves. One kind of falls, instead of fluttering down like a leaf would, it just goes thump like a small pillow would off of the tree. It's an eerie feel as the moon above seems to be stitched and is casting light somehow. It's fairly dark, so you're able to see ahead for the most part with this moonlight. And as you get about 2/3 of the way to the sign, so about 40 or so feet in, up ahead, a large figure kind of lumbers into the cross path where the sign is, and turns and looks towards the group. And you can see it's somewhat of like an orcish size and build, but it too seems to be stitched, and it turns and starts walking towards the group and stands a bit taller and pulls a blade off of its back. It's got a hilt with a bunch of strings hanging off of it, but the blade seems quite real. It glints a little bit in the moonlight, and it starts trudging forward with a little bit of speed. It's about 25 feet out from you, and it seems to be coming to engage. How are we going to skirt this combat? Unless you want to just roll for initiative.
That's not our style.
That's not your style. All right, let's go.
He's
Shenanigans.
force it.
Shenanigans. What are the shenanigans to prevent this combat?
Wait, the thing is running at us?
It's starting to get a bit of pace. It's moved from a little bit of a walk speed to a bit of a hustle towards you. Not a full-on run.
How far away is
I
it?
can't-
25 or so feet.
I cast fog cloud on it and put it into a 20-foot radius sphere of fog while we sneak away.
Nice.
As you cast fog cloud on it, the fog just blows up kind of around it, and instead of being complete fog, it seems to be very light tendril polyfill. So something that fits this world. It's
weird.
tangible. Like you could grab it and kind of move it around. You feel like it's only a few feet away from you. You feel like you could put a hand in it and kind of move through it, but it's not a fog that you've seen before. The fog stops and kind of moves around, and you can tell that this thing is very confused. So in order to sneak around it, you have to kind of move into some of the brush and between some of the trees, as it's in the center of the path.
Ooh.
Stumbling about, it seems.
Let's do it.
It's not great. So we should probably roll stealth in order to do so as quietly as possible. Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So if you want to sneak around, a stealth roll +4 for your plush environment.
23?
23.
13.
13. Okay.
That's with a +8 from me and a +4 from you. So that tells you what number I pulled.
Ooh!
I was homeschooled, so I think you rolled a 12.
Almost.
Almost.
Take off the
Corey
2.
Fizz. Take off the 2. Corey or Fizz, are you rolling stealth, or are you just gonna kind of walk around it, fly over it?
I roll stealth, but it's an 18. And that's
Alright.
just with my normal.
I got a 5.
So you rolled a 1 as well?
No. Wait, I get a +4?
Yes.
Oh, I thought it
Everyone.
was only for her
No,
because of her
everyone,
boobs.
'cause it's a squishy
No.
environment.
So I get my modifier plus an additional 4?
Yes.
Oh, then I got a 9. It's not as
Yeah.
bad.
Well, for the 2 of you that rolled poorly, it seems that as you're sneaking around, you step on a couple piles of buttons that seem to be like pebbles, and they clack and clatter and kind of slide out from under you just a little bit. The fog cloud moves in your general direction a little bit, catching you briefly on the edges. So you're in a little bit of impaired vision at this point. You know where you're going, so if you wish to forge forward, you may. If you wish to do something else, let me know what that is.
I mean, what's the creature doing?
It seems to be coming towards you. You can't quite see in the
Oh,
fog
'cause-
cloud because
yeah.
it's engulfed on the center of it.
Got it. But the fog cloud is moving towards us.
The fog cloud
Okay.
is moving towards the sound source. Yes.
I'm just gonna. I mean, I'm impaired. Not physically. Like I can move normally. It's just
You can
like I
move
can't
normally,
see
yeah.
super well, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna try and keep sneaking. I guess. I mean, I don't know how far away it was from us. So.
Each of you is able to make your way forward. The worst of the movement is just getting a little bit of this stuff in your mouth and kind of in your eyes. As you come out of the fog cloud, you've got it stuck on some of your outfit and your armor, as it was essentially a polyfill that was very fine. So you come out of it with bits and pieces, like you just walked through a fake haunted house and got spider webbing all over you. The fake spider webbing, of course. And you're on the other side with the full group, and the fog cloud just kind of continues to wander. You don't hear much sound within the middle of it. It doesn't seem to be calling out or yelling or anything. What is it that you do? Continue forward to the sign, shoot some fireballs into the middle of this thing. How are
Yeah,
we-
I think we should keep moving forward.
Towards
Has
yeah,
the
yeah. keep moving
creature-
towards the voice.
Yeah, has the creature noticed that we have moved on?
It hasn't noticed much. It's still kind of wandering, trying to figure out where you had gone. Probably
Okay.
unsure of why its vision suddenly went to very foggy to none. So moving
Okay.
forward towards the sign, you see some of the brush up ahead kind of wiggle and move, and a young woman falls out, and she's like hustling up towards you. But you notice that her garments seemed a bit more like hand woven, like the rest of the environment. She herself seems fairly human. Her arm looks a little off as she's scrambling towards you. And as she get up to the group, she begins to speak and open her mouth. And at that moment, her skin up across her face starts to turn into cloth. And her mouth gets sewn shut in a nice smile. And you see her eyes open in fear, and the cloth begins to creep up towards them, and one pops into a button and the other pops into a button, and then both of her hands are all clothy now, and she reaches out and kind of grabs onto Eldor's cloak and drops down to her knees and puts her head down in defeat as she is seemingly turning fully into this cloth-woven creature.
Ew. I don't like Coraline. I'm just thinking of Coraline.
Scrooge does not
yeah.
like that movie.
Well,
Oh, it's creepy.
then
cute.
your main goal is to murder things and get out of here, I guess.
I feel bad. I don't want to murder her. I don't know what happened to her besides what visually happened
Yeah.
just now. I would like to approach her if she's fairly close.
Yeah, she
Okay.
actually had dropped and like kind of grabbed out at Eldor as like she was trying to request help of some way, shape, or form, and she's kind of on her knees in front of the group within reach.
Okay.
And then she looks up and looks across the group, and you can kind of see the buttons moving a little bit as if she seems to see you or understand your presence.
I'd like to go over to her, grab her hand, and say, "Are you okay?"
She looks up at you, and you see a emotion as if she was trying to speak, but nothing comes out. And she puts her cloth hands to her face, and then to like her neck, like she's lost her voice. And then she looks around and goes,
Oh, okay. Let me see. Does anybody have pen and paper?
for those of you listening, she kind of made a
Well-
motion like she was writing on her hand.
How about what? How about what and a what?
I
A
think she
quill
means a quill and
paper?
parchment.
I mean,
I thought I did. Oh, I have
Got a
Yeah.
torch.
I have my
Dang.
cartography set. Cartography.
Your cartography set would have some writing utensils.
Sort of, yeah.
Potentially like a piece of chalk or
Charcoal or something.
charcoal or something, yeah.
Okay, I have a quill, I have ink, but I do not have any paper. Nobody has paper?
Paper and ink
Oh.
are expensive. No.
Doesn't Fizz have a book of sorts?
Book? Book?
All her formulas.
You have a spell book or a formula book or an alchemist,
No, but you
Cookbook.
can't use that.
but you can't use that, okay?
Why
That's-
not?
Because that's important, okay?
To me.
Every page is accounted for. You can't just rip pages out of it willy-nilly.
Well, we start at the back. It's not really willy-nilly.
I'm going to sweep off a bit of the ground. I guess there's no
I have a
dirt,
map.
so she can't even
You
write
could
in
use the
dirt.
back of this
Yeah.
poorly wrought map I have.
There we go.
That would work. That would work.
Better not be the one I drew, because mine is better than...
No, this is a
Yours is-
poorly wrought map from my homeland. Depicts where I am in Faerun.
Weird.
You can use the back.
Yours is in your bag. Your map's in your bag. Last time I
Alright. So, oh yeah, Fizz's beautiful castle map.
Yeah.
Yeah. So with that map and the quill and the ink, this stuffed cloth woman carefully grabs the quill, and you can tell she doesn't have like dexterous fingers. She just has a stuffed hand, so she's awkwardly writing, and you get a message that kind of reads something like, "Stayed too long. I want to turn back."
Okay.
You know where the exit is. It's like 60 yards that way.
Can't see it anymore.
The tent is still
We
there.
couldn't see it once we got
No.
in.
The tent, after Corey had been blown in,
Or just disappears.
kind of like
Nothing.
turned itself inside out and disappeared because of the
Oh,
pocket
crap.
dimension in Fizz's bag.
Well, I'm not sure what to do. I don't see an end to this forest.
The
Can-
road splits in
Move
two
forward.
separate directions. One seems to get to a dark turn very quickly. The other goes straight over into an open field. The moonlight glistening across what seems to be some form of plant waving a little bit in the wind, as if it was like a wheat or a corn or something in the distance.
Okay. Who did this to you?
She looks down and writes a question mark. And she writes, entered through fort.
So, the longer you stay here, the quicker you turn into, or if an amount of time passes while you're in here, you eventually turn into a stuffed animal. A stuffed.
She
creature.
writes, me 3 days, my friends 1.
Oh. Do you think there's a reason why they only had 1 day and you had 3?
Another big question mark gets written on the page. We're about half full on this page of writable space.
All right. Can you take us to your friends?
Can try, ... gets written.
Okay. Does anybody else have any other
dark
questions?
area.
Anyone else wish to ask this stuffed lady some questions?
Seems as though she entered through a fort. Is that what she said?
That's what she wrote, yeah.
Probably like a blanket fort or something.
Yeah.
Do I
That's
get
what
the
we did.
sense? Do I get the sense that I can help her, like, be normal again?
I don't know. Have you turned someone from a pillow creature back into a non-pillow creature?
I don't know, but I have like.
You don't know her
shit-
history. She might have.
Oh, that's why I'm asking. Oh, have you?
Yes,
Yeah?
I
Oh.
have.
Then Fizz, if you've done such a thing, then you might have an idea?
Like, do I feel like any specific healing spells or anything would work?
Probably not. You know that you haven't been able to cast a healing spell on a dying plant that you had a few years ago and have it come back. So it seems like some of your heals may be more for a creature. She seems to not be much of a creature at this point.
Can I do an Arcana check to see if maybe this is a magical effect, or if it's like a curse or something like that?
Stay too long, you become a doll. I think it's-
Yeah, if you wanna do an Arcana check, Fizz, the only thing that you might get would be that these seem more like constructs.
Right.
So you're probably intrigued by that and would have a little bit of knowledge that if there's a construct with a soft outer shell, there's probably a mechanical piece within controlling it or moving it. So that would be your only understanding. You might know it from a mechanical.
So now, like, I imagine I'm thinking the files are inside the computer. Like, oh, maybe she's not really human at all.
You watched her transform, but it's up to you to take that into effect. Lily, what was your Arcana roll?
9.
9. You believe that if this is a magic, it's some form of transformative magic, as you've kind of investigated her just a little bit, it doesn't seem to be an illusion. There's no shimmering. There's no ability to disbelieve it. It's there, and it's happened to this woman. So there is some form of magical transformation. It's not just a hoax or an illusion.
Okay. So, because what I was thinking was one of two things. One, if you leave the tent as this sort of creature, do you turn back into yourself? But with the creatures that we saw before, it's probably a no. So my second thought is, if this is magical, we take care of the main person and everyone gets turned back into themselves. Or are they stuck like that? So that's like sort of the things that are running through my mind right now.
Yeah.
So I would like to ask her, do you know what those screams are?
What the screams are, you said?
Yeah.
She looks down and writes, "Me."
Oh.
You're no longer hearing them. You had heard them just prior as you were walking in her direction, which equates out from what was heard and seen.
Okay. Do you... She probably doesn't know what did it to her. So it's...
She already said she doesn't know.
Yeah.
I think we just need to choose a path. Because standing here, it seems time is our enemy.
Yeah.
And if we
you're right.
stay too long, we're going to be in trouble. So we need to choose a path and figure out if there's a way out.
I like the look of
longer
that
we stay, the more
field.
likely. Like the look of the field?
It's open. You can see what's coming for you.
Right?
Ever don't trust a fae. And I give
I've
you
never
a nod of
lied.
approval. Never lied.
I won't lie to you.
So maybe we go that direction.
Through the
I
field?
want to check on our ogre friend. How's he doing?
How long does that spell stay up? Concentration for 10 minutes or something?
Something ridiculous, yeah. Up to an hour, as long as I concentrate on it.
Yeah. So he's still kind of wandering around. Out of the corner of your eyes, you've noticed he's moved a bit off of the path and then gotten back on it. It seems to be making some circles and motion about, but right now it just seems more out of confusion, not in like a hurried motion. Otherwise, yeah, still about 20 or so feet behind you.
Okay. That's good.
Okay.
So let's get away from him.
Yeah, definitely. First things first, move away from dangerous creatures.
Is this Lily's
Alright.
guide to survival in distant lands?
Yes.
Chapter 1. First things first. Alright, so which direction do you choose to go? Are we deciding the field's your safe bet?
Facing the
That's
fields.
where I'd go. But we can go wherever.
I follow the ferry.
Eljor and Corey are trudging towards the field.
Are you guys just staying?
I'm going. I'm following.
Yeah, I go on.
As you're all going along, the cloth woman follows behind, kind of looking around nervously at all points. The paper map on the back looked like it only had space for another handful of words if you decide to converse with her later. But that gets packed up back in Corey's bag, and the quill and ink back in, I believe, Lily's bag, where it come from. And you head towards the field. As you get into the opening, you notice there's a small hill that you go up between a couple fields that look like one side is wheat and one side is corn. Of course, these ones are knitted, and they're waving a bit in the light breeze. Up ahead, there's a windmill that is slowly turning in the breeze. And you can kind of hear it cranking and turning, but then you hear floom, floom, floom of something else coming up over the trees behind you. And you see a big woven dragon with a rider standing atop it, flying over towards the windmill, and it slows and makes a little bit of an arc over you as if to kind of understand what's going on. And then it continues its path towards the windmill up ahead. It's a slow flight, not hurried in any manner. The loop around you doesn't seem to have alarmed the rider.
That's always a good thing. Well, that was odd. I think we should keep going, though.
Also, new game. Let's try to ask her yes and no questions so she doesn't have to write if she doesn't have to.
Ooh, yeah. Is she following us?
She is. She's staying a bit behind you, a few steps. When you had seen the dragon go overhead, she had crouched down a little bit.
Oh.
But not anything like diving into the corn or hiding completely, just like kind of ducking out of the way a little bit.
I'd like to turn to her and say, should we be concerned about that?
As you turn and look at her, she nods her head in affirmative that she's at least concerned about it.
Okay.
Well, maybe they can help. On we go.
Forward it is as Eljor keeps moving across this path. The windmill is about 150, 200 feet out. The dragon has seemed to have landed next to it. The rider is not in sight, but there's some lights on in the lower portion of the windmill. And then you see what seems to be like a torch moving up as you see a couple of the lights, or a couple of the little holes in the windmill kind of light up as if someone's going upstairs towards the top of this windmill. There's no other creatures moving outside of the windmill, just the dragon kind of sitting behind. And as the dragon breathes, you see a little bit of like tendrils kind of blow out of its mouth and then suck back in like smoke almost. It doesn't seem to see you, and it's kind of facing towards the door, watching in as if it's just waiting for the rider to return.
Okay. We're heading in the opposite direction, right?
we're going
The windmill's
towards
up
the
ahead
windmill.
of you.
Oh.
The road will go near the windmill. It's got a small path, probably about 20 or so feet off of the main road that you're on, that leads up to the windmill. So if you wish to bypass the windmill, it seems in the distance there may be a small town that has some lights on. It looks kind of cardboard cutout in nature, in about 500-700 feet past the windmill. So it's a good 1,000 or so from you right now.
Eljor, I don't know how you're feeling, but I've got mixed feelings about headed this way.
We don't have a choice. Time, we need to move forward. There's literally... do you want to end up, sorry, miss, like her? It's that, or be passive and wait.
Yeah. Yep. You're right. Let's
As much
keep
as
going.
I don't like it, we have to move forward.
Let's do this. Let's do it.
Ori and Fizz, you're just tagging along here.
Yep, move forward.
Moving forward.
Always forward.
For science, Fizz says, always forward.
As Miss Frizzle said, get messy, make mistakes.
Get messy,
Hmm?
make mistakes. Miss Frizzle here. Yeah, so as Miss Frizzle leads the party along with Lily, Corey, and Fizz, Eljor leads the party here. You do notice that the lights reach the top of this windmill. And the windmill stops moving and then starts turning in reverse. And as it's turning in reverse, the paddles on the windmill start to unravel a bit and then fall off, and it just becomes a tower with a small post. Near the dragon, there's piles of what seem to be yarn and scrap that fall around it, and the dragon kicks a few pieces off and continues to stare in the door, waiting for the rider. The light stays in the top part of this windmill that is now just a tower, and out of the bits and pieces that fall to the ground, they start to squirm and wiggle and move a bit, and a few little goblin-esque creatures start to walk out of what was once the windmill paddles, and the piles of debris get smaller and smaller, and the small army of goblins, dark in color, very poorly put together. Some seem to be dripping from the distance that you're at, very much like the goblins that you had encountered earlier. And they form somewhat rank and file very terribly, because A, they're goblins, and B, they're pillow goblins, and C, they're zombo pillow goblins. So it's a mess. They're kind of in some formation, standing next to the dragon, staring at the windmill as well. There, from what you can count, there's probably about 50 to 100 there in the small pods that they've made.
Okay. Is the dragon real or is he stuffed?
From the light that glints off of him, it looks like he's stuffed as well. This creature's been here for some time or was created here.
Okay. I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to stop in and say hello. I'd rather just keep going.
Don't we have to go past the windmill to get to the city?
Yeah.
Yes. The groups of goblins are only a few feet from the side of the road. They're facing away from it, but still close enough.
And our plan is to go to the city to see who's got a way out, right?
I guess.
We're not like
We gotta
going
figure out
to-
what's going on here.
to make a
Are
home
we
or
gonna
nothing.
are we gonna help this lady too, or no?
Maybe? We're gonna
If we
try.
can get
Well-
out.
It sounds like if she just comes with us, we go
Mhm.
back.
Hopefully, it'll just. I mean, if existing here makes her into that, then hopefully existing back in the real world will help her turn back into a person.
Just afraid that it won't.
Work?
We can only try.
Yeah.
Well,
Don't get your hopes up, miss.
Lost
we
Gold
should
doesn't
go.
find itself. Let's go.
Lost
Yep.
gold doesn't find itself. So,
We're looking for gold now.
Wait, there's
Always
gold here?
looking for gold.
I think it's just gold-colored
Where?
yarn. May not be worth much back in the real world.
it's yarn made of gold? What?
Rumpelstiltskin.
Alright,
Rumpelstiltskin.
So at this point, as you're on the hill looking towards this tower that was once a windmill, dragon sitting there, a couple pods of zombo pillow goblins, we're gonna take a few minutes break. Take a breather, get the transformation of the woman out of our minds. Yeah, you know, and hopefully in about 10 minutes time, this party will be refreshed and ready to take on the world. I will say, I'm a bit surprised. Scott Denuzo is still holding on to the hype boss. Just below me, there's the hype boss.
So close. Only
Um,
142 HP.
Anyone who tips or follows or gives bits or subscribes knocks that HP down. The next person to take that slot over gets to give away a nat 20 to one of the players or the DM on screen.
It's
We're
never the
used-
DM.
It's never the DM. I have two
That's-
sitting here from Scott Denuzo himself, ready for this next battle whenever you guys give me one. And they might just... they're going to have to go into a check or something of mine. But yeah, so when we come back, if someone wants to dethrone Scott Denuzzo and give away a Nat 20 to someone on screen, let's do it. So we'll see you guys in about 10 minutes. Listen for our theme song, and we will be back in the plushy Zombo world. See you soon. And that's how they all turned into pillow people. That's my running joke. Everyone dies on break. They go on break, they walk away from their character, I delete their character sheet, they're gone.
Someone may argue that I'm a pillow person on the regular, though. Like, that's just who I am.
You're just returning to your natural state.
Yeah.
Her natural habitat.
Yeah.
Pillows and blankets.
Seriously, if I go to bed before him, he comes in and there's like, I'm surrounded by pillows.
This woman is a walking pillow fort. Maybe that's why I am all about these Zombo pillow goblins. But we are back to the show. Quick call out. We do have a few things going on. Below me, if you're here live on stream, Scott Denuzzo is very close to being dethroned from the Hype Boss. Hype Boss allows you to give one of the players on screen a Nat 20 to use in place of a roll. Pretty awesome. If you're a D&D player, you know what that means. Instead of rolling, you get to just say, "Aha, DM, I smite thee," and hopefully it works. Otherwise, we do have a bunch of great sponsors. You can see them in chat. Take a look at some point there. You can type !sponsors and you'll get the list. They're off to the left side of the screen. And finally, one of our sponsors is doing a giveaway with us, a customized advent calendar of dice and other knickknacks from Critical Treasures. We launched that giveaway about an hour and a half ago-ish. It will be chosen, and we will be going live next week with the winner. So go to our Instagram and do the few things, like, follow, comment, and you'll be entered to win.
To clarify,
Yeah.
it is a customized advent calendar for this giveaway. It's not like customized to whoever.
Yes, correct.
Just
It is a
It's all
special.
it's 100% Corrigan sheen.
Oh,
It's all Corrigan She. It's just all sorts of fairy items. So you might get a
Yes.
twig in one, you'll get some moss in another. You'll
She's-
get a
she's-
flower.
She's super excited because it costs like no money to put together for her.
Just
Just go to the backyard and pick things up. That's important.
There it is. So, Kirsty, if you're listening, feel free to throw some moss into one of those. But no, it'll be a
but
bunch
don't, because that's like a customs nightmare.
Yeah.
Like, don't do that.
It
Also, I
is-
love moss, so
Jared's like, please, moss.
Java moss. Moss balls are great. Sphagnum moss for my leafy boys.
There you go. I'm waiting for Jared to have his own custom-made moss dice set, because, you know.
Fun fact. When I was playing Mug over on Dragons and Things, I looked into commissioning a set with moss in it.
Oh, that's
Just never happened.
Ooh.
Fun fact,
Okay.
I
Red
have
Fantasy.
moss with the intention of doing it as an inclusive for a dice, but
Yeah.
I'm waiting for my dice mold that I ordered.
I'm waiting for my vacuum chamber.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Look
So,
at you crafty
You'll have to
folks.
stream it.
so we'll be streaming dice making at some point.
Yes.
Yeah, but we'll be doing a giveaway of really cool things customized for this show for a winner. you'll get whatever critical treasures Kirsty has for us set up that you can't buy. But I gotta call it out too. Still, I think there may be a few still in stock. I don't know. She's doing advent calendars. They have a lot of great things in them.
Sick.
Sarah and Glenn have opened one, and it was, from what I heard, they said it was totally sick or rad or cool
was
or
fire.
tight or whatever. It was fire. Yeah, all of those
Yeah,
words.
all
Whatever the
things.
kids are saying these days.
Do Tink and Zelda count as cast members?
Tink and Zelda are cast members.
Oh.
They are credited in. No, they're not credited.
IMDb credit.
They're
So they're
credited
not
in IMDb.
excluded. So
yes.
they're not excluded from the giveaway.
Girls, you can't win. But other than that, we are back to our show. Now that we've been silly enough there, thank you for joining in. Thank you for coming to our pillow world on this spooky, spectacular, special episode. Our party was at the top of this hill in Fluffdom, hand stitchery dome. I don't know, a place that is basically all handcrafted. So the ground is made up of pillows and buttons and strings and things. It looks very lifelike, but it's still known to be handcrafted. Bless you. The field that they're in between has some stitched and some knitted wheat and corn kind of waving in the wind, and looking down towards what was once a windmill, but is now more or less a tower. A dragon had flown over, the rider had entered the windmill, and had done something to cause the blades, the paddles on the windmill to fall to the ground and start transforming into creepy little zombie goblin pillow creatures that the party had seen earlier. There's now 50 to 100 of them sitting in front of this little tower, and the dragon sitting there staring into the doorway, waiting for the rider to return, and the party wondering if they wish to go past and get to the town 600 feet or so further, or, hang out and play with the dragon and friends. And I have seen some weird things going on in chat. Oh man, what are you guys getting me to do? What are we doing with these channel points? I'm waiting for it. But as we wait, party, what do we want to do here? At the top of the hill in Pillow Town.
We want to go to town.
We don't. Yeah, we want to sneak past these goblins and go to the town, right?
Circumvent, yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, so you all have I believe a +4 to your rolls on stealth. Do you wish to roll on stealth alone, or is there some shenanigan that you wish to employ?
I just want to roll on stuff.
I just love rolling low. It's my favorite thing.
Alright, let's get those low stealth rolls out.
Can I have a... Last time I got it, what was it?
A 1?
Yeah.
I got a 13. This time I got a 14. So
Doing better.
I'm moving on up.
There it is.
17.
17 for me as well.
Also 17 for me.
So slightly better than mediocre for most of you, as you are
Wow.
stealthing past these gobos. None of them seem to mind or care. They're all standing mildly in attention, looking at the windmill and bumping into one another and just kind of doing their thing. And you're able to get past them to a distance where you could go to the town up ahead. It takes you a couple moments to get past them, and you hear a bit of muffled thumping and thudding behind you as you pass, and it seems that the goblins are all pushing up towards the windmill in some form of excitement, however a zombie goblin would be excited. Otherwise, you're in the clear. You've made it through. There's the town ahead, some lights on in a few of the homes. It seems to be fairly late in the evening wherever you are, not mid-afternoon where you had come from. Continue forward.
Yes, sir.
All right. As you continue forward, there's a guard, very much stuffed, walking back and forth. Seems to be a humanoid. You can't quite tell if it was human or elf or another form of humanoid, other than it's not stout and short like a dwarf or small in stature like any of the other smaller races. So it stands roughly 5.5 or so feet tall, paces back and forth, and when it sees you, it walks forward and puts a hand on the hilt of the blade at its side, and puts one stuffed hand up as if to stop you. And it nods its head and looks like it's talking to you. The stuffed woman behind pushes through and kind of looks around, and you see her bob her head around, and it seems as if they're having a conversation that they can understand. And she turns to you and like waves at you like she got the okay to go in or to pass through, and the guard removed the hand from the hilt, but keeps his button eyes staring at you all intently.
I like stare back. I'm like,
So she starts to walk into the town, still looking around. Seems to be of the mind or of the matter to speak with the locals in her current form.
Okay.
I mean, I'm gonna follow.
I'm
We can't understand
gonna
them.
follow. Yeah.
Yeah, she's clearly got a direction, so that's where we're going.
So she
Just
walks
a
into
stitch
town.
ahead.
Oh man. Such a stitch. As in laughter and enjoyment. We're gonna take all of these wonderful things and tie them all together as wonderful dad jokes. See what I did there, Ty? Oh, I hate myself already. So as you walk into the town, and you notice there's a few curtains being pulled back, and you see button eyes looking out. You see a smaller, what seems to be like a stuffed child get pushed out of a window by what appears to be their parent, and like kind of hiding them away from the beasts of meat and bone from being seen. Like maybe you're quite scary to the locals here. No one seems to be coming out of their homes and approaching you. Some even actually close up their blinds, and you see a small face peek out here and there. The woman, kind of on a mission, walks you into what seems to be the town center, and she's looking about, her hands up to her face, seeming to yell something. You hear no noise. Whatever language or form of communication they have isn't audible to you. Out of a small building in the back that looks like it's got a sign that hangs down that says something about magic and potions. A small, older, stuffed man comes walking out, and he walks forward with a gnarled woven staff. His clothing fraying at the ends, even like the end of his beard is kind of fraying. He walks forward and starts some conversation with this woman, and after only a couple moments, she puts her head down, almost in defeat, and turns around and looks at you all and just puts her hands up. Whatever information she had learned seems to be disheartening, or at least confusing to her.
Not really sure how to proceed if I can't talk to anybody.
Should we just keep moving then? I mean, if we can't get any information out of the town.
I mean, I'm not smart enough to be thinking like this. What was the other direction from the field?
It was down a dark path that seemed to kind of twist into the woods. But you'd have to go back past the windmill with whatever dealings are going on there.
Did we address the channel point redemption?
I didn't
Mhm.
see a channel point
No.
redemption. What was it?
Well, I think Jared Hoyt could explain it best because he added the button.
Uh-oh.
Wait, to be fair, you told me to. So.
Uh-oh.
Uh,
It's a
let's
diddle
see.
diddle
What?
dee.
Deedle Deedle D was redeemed. And that says Jared Starton must break into a verse of "If I Were a Rich Man" and the dance from Fiddler on the Roof a cappella. I don't write these things. They just go in there. It is the spooky episode.
It is a spooky episode, but I have not been prepared for what all of that entails. What if I research it and release it on Instagram for you all tomorrow as what I need to do?
I mean, I guess that's a Lucas Martinez question.
Yeah.
Lucas Martinez, I have no idea what I'm supposed to be doing. My mindset isn't in whatever lyric I need to sing and whatever dance I need to do.
You just broke him.
Doomed.
You gotta wear
Okay.
that face thing.
You
though.
gotta. So I guess we're doing it after.
I guess as soon as this episode's done, I'm researching whatever this thing is, and it's going. Oh no! It's
Full
going
dance.
on
Gwen's fine.
Instagram just for you all.
Yes.
Mhm.
Do it.
Please
Do
note down what
it.
I must do, and I will face my fate. Thank you for the button. How many points did they have to redeem for that?
It was oddly cheap.
Yeah. I mean, people were offering.
Is it a one and done? Like I don't
Yeah.
have to release like 6 versions of it?
No, it's a done no.
Perfect. Well, you're welcome, chat. The fun that I have to go through. But yes, the other side of where you could have gone seemed to twist into the darkness of the woods, and the path was very hard to see.
Do you guys think it's worth going back and checking that out? If there's nothing in the town worth answers.
As you're all kind of talking there, the woman is just standing nearby and just looking around. A few people walk up to her, all stuffed, of course, and they kind of take her in. They throw a blanket around her shoulders, and she gets set down on the side of the fountain, and she seems to be discussing with a few older folks in the town, potentially understanding the town and her fate. The old, gnarled, stuffed man comes walking up to you and waves at the group, and he points and he makes like a flapping gesture with his hands, and then he like grabs at like an amulet that doesn't exist on his neck, and then he makes a motion as if he's reading a book. So he does that, and he looks across the group. He does it once more just to let you know, flaps his hands like wings, grabs at an amulet, and then flips through a book. And then once he sees that you have seen that, he then makes like a slicing motion across the neck.
Kill the dragon, take his amulet?
Or kill the rider, take the amulet to fly the dragon?
Either way, we're gonna fight a dragon? Is that what I'm gathering here?
I hope pillow dragons are weaker than regular ones.
I don't
maybe
understand
these-
what the purpose is.
He kind of like grabs at his cloth arm a bit, and then grabs at the arm of Eljor, like showing
Oh.
a difference there.
So that we
And-
don't turn into stuffed?
He looks across the group and makes a slow, like, graven nod of affirmation.
Okay, dragon time, right?
I don't know if this music is oddly fitting or really terrible for this. Like, don't face your
It
fate
works.
in the Dragonland. You could be a
Like a-
pillow.
It's like that scene in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory where they go and it's like scary for a little while.
Yeah.
You mean
Well,
the soul scarring scene that none of the children were aware was going to
Yes.
happen?
Wait,
In
the
the
actors weren't aware
original-
that was gonna happen?
Yeah, only Gene knew.
Oh,
You're talking
jeez.
about the original one, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Oh yeah, no, they did that movie from the book, and Gene Wilder had a really good relationship with the kid who played Charlie, and like terrified the crap out of him and went and talked to him for days.
I know they did that
Yikes.
on It too. They didn't let the kids see him, even the actor that played Pennywise. I love when they do stuff like that. So much more
Yeah.
genuine.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's probably
Um,
more traumatizing though too, but
Oh yeah,
I don't want to drag this out more than it needs to.
Okay,
Let's
so
go fight a dragon.
I want to clarify with the person we're talking to. We're killing the dragon, or we're killing the man?
He shakes his head at the dragon, and as soon as you say "man," he nods his head.
Okay. Don't want to be killing creatures that we don't need to kill. All right, let's go do this.
Huzzah!
Let's go make a
Huzzah.
stuffing mess.
Stuffing mess.
I was gonna say bloody mess, but that's not gonna work for this situation.
let's make a fluffing mess.
There it is.
Yes.
So as you get answers here, or at least direction for your answers, the guard that greeted you at the edge of town rushes in, and he's flailing his arms and seeming to scream something. Doors slam shut on a few homes. A few doors swing open, and some of the men come rushing out of the homes, each with weaponry or farm tools or whatnot, and they all start rushing towards the gate that you had come from. And as you turn around, you notice that there's the swarm of the zombie pillow goblins coming towards the town, and the townspeople and guards are all rushing to defend. They're doing an okay job. From what you can tell, it's mostly on the town side. You do see a guard get overcome by a few zombie goblins, and then fluff gets thrown up into the air as they shred the guard apart. But it seems that the town is somewhat under attack. In the distance, you see the tower, and the light is still flickering in the top of the tower, however.
Okay.
Can we get back without going through the swarm?
It seems that you didn't walk through any gates. This isn't a walled off town, so you could probably go back behind a few homes and sneak back through like the field next to the tower.
Okay. I'd like to do that. I think that's
Alright.
a good idea.
Because you've chosen that, and with everything going on, there's no need to roll or stealth. As you're able to tuck behind a few of the homes, and most of the stuff is happening in the front of the homes. You do, however, encounter two pillow zombie goblins walking your direction, and they seem a lot more alert now, and they start rushing towards you. And there seems to be only two back behind these homes that have spotted you. So, because they see you and they're at a distance, if you guys have anything you want to fire off or do from a distance, we'll do that. Otherwise, I'm going to attempt again to force another combat and see how you guys evade.
Okay, are they trying to come
range.
toward us?
Yeah, they
Or
seem to be
they-
running. They seem to be running right at you as if they're ready to attack.
All right. I would like to shoot at least one of them with my longbow.
All right, you have enough time to definitely pull off one shot. Not overly hurried. They're about 40 or so feet out, and they don't move too quickly. Their run speed is about 20, so it'll take them a couple seconds, and so you should be able to grab your bow and get one shot out.
All right, 18 to hit.
18 to hit. As you fire, you hit the which goblin, left or right?
Left.
Left. So you fire a shot and it hits the left one, and it kind of hits like the chest neck region, and as the arrow passes through, you see black fluff go up into the air, and then the head kind of just flops off, and it's not fully detached, it's like hanging off to the side, and part of the chest and arm fall off to the side, and then its body slumps over, and as the ooze comes out, it turns again to like a darkened fluff. The other one is still running. Does anyone else attempt any ranged attacks at it?
I don't have any.
I can throw a fire.
You
Yeah.
want to throw a fire? Let's see what a fire does.
Produce flame and reach back. And as I throw it, I say, I won't hit Fizz this time. Oh, but I'm not 100% positive to that.
Uh-oh.
7.
7. As you produce fire, it drops right in front of this goblin that's running at you, and it stops and kind of drops and falls over to its side. So it's prone and crawling away from the fire, obviously scared of it, but you haven't hit it. You guys have a few extra seconds now to react before combat ensues. Do we take any more shots? Lily, you've been bought enough time to fire another shot. If Eljor
Then I'd
and
like
Fizz
to
don't
do
have
that.
anything, all right, let's
I
roll
don't
the hit.
have. I have
got that.
one ability, and it won't affect constructs. So
Ooh. That's a 6 to
A
hit.
6 to hit.
I rolled a
Ah.
1.
Ooh,
that's
you rolled
it's
a 1.
not a 6.
It's a 1. As you fumble your shot, you didn't quite nock the arrow properly, and it just falls off, and you fire it, and it sinks clean into the ground. You would recognize this arrow as super unrecoverable. It's gone. It's probably 100 feet into fluff now, whereas the other one is stuck into the ground up ahead, so it's recoverable.
Okay.
Otherwise, that goblin is still kind of crawling away. It's getting around the flame, but still seems to be coming your direction. So you do have ability to run up and surprise attack. If you want to try anything with Mage Hand, these are stuffed animals after all, so you probably could have some fun with the Mage Hand, Ledger Main, Sneak Attack, whatever.
Whatever sounds like more fun.
Oh, I still think it only has a 10-pound limit. They're not
Yeah, I
tiny,
think
right?
it's only like
They're
10.
they're goblin-sized stuffed animals, so they're only about 2 feet tall. I would assume from a stuffed animal perspective, they may be 6 pounds. So, have some fun with it.
I can't attack
Okay.
with it, so I don't know what I'm supposed to. I get. Yeah.
I mean, up to you. And the world's your oyster.
Oh no, it literally says that is a limitation. I can't attack, activate mage items
Oh,
that
yeah,
carry
yeah.
more than 10 pounds. So,
I mean, as long as you're
just
punching
gonna-
the guy, right? 2 seconds. Sorry, everybody.
I'll just prep an attack with my sword if it decides that I'm close.
When it gets through.
And it gets through at this rate.
The inevitable.
All right. So, it gets up to its feet and starts hustling towards you all. At this point, I'm going to force a roll for initiative because it's
So I
running
don't get
at
to make
you.
my attack when it gets closer?
It's running at you. I mean, it's forcing initiative as it's running at you. You're in battle now. It will be upon you on its turn.
He's forcing it.
I need to roll something. Let me roll. So I'm rolling initiative over here.
I rolled mine.
Wow. All right. What is our initiative rolls?
21.
18.
19.
19. Glenn?
7.
7. I have a 6. I was hoping one of you would get a famous roll, but I guess we start from the top. That'd be Lily.
I mean, I
believe,
got
with
a
21.
famous roll.
Was it a 20 right off?
Yeah, it was a 20 on the die.
I was hoping for all 2s. You guys have been getting 2s all night.
I rolled a 3.
Nah.
I rolled a 2.
All right, so Lily,
All right.
you get a chance to shoot at this thing.
This is the one I just tried to shoot at, right?
Yes, the one that you massively fumbled the shot straight in between your feet, essentially.
All right, 21 to hit.
That hits. That hits. What is your
Good.
damage?
4 damage.
4 damage. You blast a hole through the chest of this goblin, and it's like dripping in the middle of its chest cavity. It's still standing, but from all you can tell, barely. So we go next in the turn order. I believe that was a 19 on Corrigan.
Yeah. I'm gonna wing my hardwood antler dirk at this.
All right.
I'm just gonna lower it and yuck it
Alright.
across.
Yuck
16 on the die, 20 to
16 on the
hit.
die. 20 to hit. That hits. What is your damage?
My damage is 4 total damage.
4 total damage. Where are you aiming at this thing?
Probably center mass.
Center mass. So as you aim at center mass, it flips end over end and just kind of tears straight through like the neck and chin, opening up that hole that Lily had made in the chest cavity, and then the goblin kind of falls apart and fluff just kind of goes up into the air as it had died. Well, I made you guys go into combat. That is, I think, our arc's first actual combat, maybe second. Very, very low-key combat. You're out of combat now. Well done.
Cool.
Way to go.
I
didn't even
retrieved
do
my dirk.
anything.
You retrieve your dirk. Lily's able to retrieve 2 of her 3 fired arrows. Eljor
Yay!
can high-five himself because he was ready but didn't have to do anything. Just like Fizz, I guess. So you can fist bump and have fun. There you go. Bam. Now, as you continue forward into the field, the dragon is still sitting at the base of the tower, staring in. The light has gone from the top of the tower and seems to be moving down the tower at this point. The dragon isn't aware of your presence. You're probably about 80 feet out and amongst some of the woven wheat, so you have a little bit of cover. Do you wish to continue forward, stand still, sing an Irish drinking song and do a jig?
Why's it gotta be Irish?
You could
not?
do Scottish. You could do a pirate drinking song. You could record
Just
whatever I need
because
to
my name's
record.
Corrigan She. Why is it called to be Irish?
Well, you can do an American drinking song, and however Americans would dance.
Ice me, bro.
Ice me, bro.
Thanks, my tractor sexy.
Oh jeez. Oh jeez. I'm sorry for those of you listening or watching. You can clip that and keep it as your ringtone now. Thanks, Glenn.
Oh no.
Goes with your
In
outfit.
memoriam.
Placing my text.
Yeah,
on.
right.
Every time a
Got
text
my
comes through,
Sorry,
Something
Kim
hat on
Possible.
and
Glenn
my-
was singing country.
every time Lindsay gets a text, I hear she thinks my tractor sexy.
That would be pretty wonderful, actually.
Yeah, so we'll release that as well, I guess. Ringtones incoming.
Oh, no.
Oh no.
Let's
Yeah.
continue forward. I want to kill this guy.
You want to kill this guy?
Are we
There-
in battle?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're out of battle.
Yeah.
There is a big pillow dragon up ahead, still at the base of this tower.
But it's so
You know what?
fluffy.
We're not gonna
The-
kill the dragon. We're gonna leave him.
No,
The
you're not.
zombies or the goblins that were hanging out around the base of the tower initially,
Mhm.
did they look like they were on the tower side, or were they were like revolting against the guy on the inside?
They look like they were on the tower side.
Okay.
Because they were filing up right next to the dragon. The
So
dragon
they're-
didn't seem to care. So it seems like they were created and or summoned by whoever's inside, and sought out to do something, attack the town or whatever.
Okay. Well, I can sweep maybe a good number of them away with a spell.
At this
Allow
point,
us to
there's
get- entry.
There's only a couple that are still standing there. They look like they're trying to stand guard as if they were like the elite few. So there's like 4 goblins, the dragon, and the tower, with the light descending the stairs. The rest of the goblins have seemed to have been the onslaught to the town. So there's only a few there.
I'd like to go to the tower.
All right. You're just gonna
Start
walk up to
taking
it, stealth
turns.
up to it,
Stealth up to it.
stealth up to it. Let's roll with your +4, and then whatever your boots give to you.
Advantage on stealth checks that rely on being quiet.
There it is.
20.
20. That's with the +4.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right, so you're able to sneak right up towards the door. The brush kind of clears out a bit, so you're a little bit closer to being seen, and you're able to get within about 20 feet before the goblins standing guard like stand in attention and look around as if they're hearing or seeing something that is amiss. And the few goblins stand up and look in your general direction. You're still just a little bit of cover that you can crouch down and hide a little, but any further and they may catch you or see you. So you're about 20 feet from the door where the 4 goblins and Pillow Dragon are. And it is definitely a fluffy dragon. It's not a real dragon.
Got it. Okay.
Anyone else following behind her, or are we letting Lily... All right, anyone who wants to sneak up, feel free to roll on your stealth. If you're staying back, don't roll. Don't need
Yeah,
it.
I'm gonna stay back a little bit.
All right. Eldor's moving up, I believe.
Yeah, I'm moving up, and I'm loving these dice. So I got a 1 and then a 2 on the last 2 stealth checks. This one is another 2.
Alright.
So we got with a +4 with my expertise +8, I got a 14.
14. As you sneak up and get near Lily, one of the pillow goblins stands up and starts slowly walking in your direction, not having spotted you fully, but is aware that there's something amiss. The others watch for a second and then go back to whatever chatting or discussing they seem to have been doing. So one is approaching you all. At this point, I would recommend banishing your dice for the evening.
Straight to jail.
Straight to jail, pulling another set, ordering another set on like Amazon 2-hour delivery, hoping they get
3
here for your
different
final
D20s.
roll. Oh no!
Smithcraft.
In that case, I guess move apartments. You're haunted. It is the spooky episode. There is a ghost among us.
When I roll as a DM with these dice, they are just super nice to me. But almost always as a player,
So
they're
they-
just absolute balls.
So they're DM favoring dice.
Yes. They're like, why are you a player? Stop
In
it.
all cases, no, you're a player. I cannot favor you. All
You do
right,
not
so you're
support this dice.
you're
Get some
DM
puppy
favoring
kisses.
dice. Oh,
That will help.
yeah. Puppy kisses.
I said get some puppy kisses.
Oh, he's sleeping. Let
Aw,
sleeping
sleeping
puppies lie.
puppy.
He's sleeping
Let
right.
sleeping puppies
right
lie.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
Oh, I woke him up. I'm sorry.
I woke him up. I'm sorry. You're
Back
doomed.
to sleep.
Just like the dice roll, the dog and the pillow goblin are cautious of whatever Glenn/Eljor is doing. One pillow goblin is slowly approaching. Do you engage, retreat, or whatnot?
He's just approaching me, right?
Yeah, he's approaching your general direction. I would assume you're near-ish to Lily, so
Yeah,
both of you.
I'll just back off then. If he
Alright.
didn't see her, then I'm not gonna give her position up.
Yeah, so he kind of steps up, and as you back up a handful of feet, he stabs into the tall grass, the wheat near Lily, only a few feet from her, but basically right where your position was there, Eljor. His spear pokes in a couple times. From what Lily can tell, it's a fairly solid spear. The tip is a stone or a glass or something. It looks very out of place for the rest of the world, and it seems to be tied onto a sturdy woven rod. So whatever is happening here, there's bits and pieces of your world that have leaked into this one, it seems. So you get a glint of that glass or that metal that stabs in off of the moonlight, and it definitely kind of sticks in your mind that that's different. The goblin stabs 3 or 4 more times, and then turns around and walks back to his buddies, and they continue to have a discussion and seem to be mildly distracted next to the door.
Okay.
The light has made it to almost the lower floor, and as the light is approaching the doorway, the goblins all stand in attention and back away from the door, and they all kind of put their heads down as if not to look at the being that's coming out of the door frame. Lily, you've got the cleanest look here as you're closest to the front, and it seems to be a tall, very well-built man, almost as like a barbarian that you might have seen in travels past. But this man has like strings and woven nature from about his upper left shoulder down to like the right midsection, and everything below that is woven and made out of string, and the line where the weaving meets like the flesh is not decaying, not bloodied, but looks very worn, as if like his body and whatever the transformation has been fighting for a very long time on this man. You do see a pendant hanging from his neck, and then he's got a large satchel that seems quite heavy, as if it's carrying books or bricks or large containers of things. The satchel and the upper portion of this man seem out of place. He seems grizzled and worn, kind of like grumbles something out of his breath, or under his breath, as he walks past the goblins and walks towards this pillow dragon, and just stands there for a minute and stretches and looks up to the skies. You can see that he is not really bothered by any presence right now, but just
Okay.
taking in the evening, I guess.
All right. I would like to calmly approach him and try to talk to him.
As you step out of the tall grass, the 4 pillow goblins quickly turn and they put out their spears and point them towards you, and they form an arc and point in your direction, slowly ease in and stay a few feet away from you, spears pointed at you. The man looks around, and then he kind of turns as he sees this commotion out of the side of his eye. Who are you, and what are you doing in this realm?
I am Sky, and I stumbled into this realm by accident. And
Well,
I'm just
Sky,
trying to understand.
This place
How I
isn't for
got-
you.
What do you mean?
This place will consume you. You're dead as you stand there, unless you know how to unstumble from this realm.
I don't know how to get out of here. What is this place?
It's another realm. Some place that isn't yours or mine. But those of you who are unfortunate to make it here and not wield the magics get turned into one of them. And he points to the goblins. I've been here many years, and I don't know where I belong. But I continue to seek wealth and fame and fortune. So, since your belongings are no use to you as you transform, why don't you throw your bag this way?
Wait, I thought you said this world wasn't for me. So that meant that I wasn't going to transform.
Oh, this world will become yours, and you become part of it. And he goes,
I'm not ready.
well, the world thinks you are, and he points down at your feet.
and the beautiful boots that you had gotten seem a bit more crocheted and handmade, only about halfway up your boot at this point.
Wait, can you stop it? I'm not ready.
Well, say your final wishes, because you only have maybe a day to be ready. And he seems very
Wait.
unfazed and starts to climb onto his dragon.
But I need to know more.
Well,
Please, are you the one that's doing this? Why is this happening to me?
he hops down, pulls out a sword from his side, and points it at you and gets it close, and pushes through the goblins and kind of kicks one of the ones out of the way. This inevitably happens to any who stay here for too long unless you wield one magical piece. And I've only found that piece. No one else has anything like it. And until I can find my exit, I shall be the only one that stays this way.
Wait, what kind of magical piece?
He doesn't say anything to you, but he kind of like eyes back and forth as if to see if anyone's coming up on him. And then he steps back and puts his other hand on the pendant on his chest. He goes, "It is mine, and you may never have it."
Why not? Is there only one in this world?
At this
This
point, the rest
universe?
the rest of you have heard some of this conversation. Are any of you doing anything during this discussion?
I mean, I feel like I'm at full view because I backed off and was no longer
What-
stealthing. So
How much did we actually hear back?
From where you're at, you've heard a bit of the conversation as the man has approached Lily. You have heard a bit more that there's a piece that essentially keeps someone from transforming or completely transforming, that Lily is transforming already. So you're aware that this man is up to something or knows of something.
I'm gonna go to Fizz. Hey Fizz,
Mm.
you still got that thing that gives out
Mhm.
things if you ask for things.
Mm-hmm.
What if we just ask for some of them there amulets, or some of them there things to make us not turn into pillows?
I open the bag. I'm like, go on.
Stick my little fairy head down in the bag.
No,
Yeah.
no. Go. And I like push him. I'm like, go.
The stone, as you get shoved into the bag, the stone is sitting there, and the eye turns to you. "What is it you wish to show me?" You hear in the back of your head.
Show
I
you.
tilt the bag because I remember. So I just like I imagine. Oh, the pillow dragon is like weird. So I was like tilting the bag too.
I don't really have anything to show him.
So
Show him the dragon.
as you're standing there, in the back of your head, you again hear, "Show me something I've never seen, and you will get your wish."
How big is the stone?
The stone is about the size of a human head, maybe just a little
Okay.
larger. So something
I
that you
wanna
could probably push or carry or whatnot.
I just want to shove the head up out of the bag and like aim it towards the tower with the pillow dragon. Look at this! You ain't seen this before.
As you pop the eye out, you hear in the back of your head, "This realm is intriguing, but that pendant. What is it you wish?"
I just want things so that we don't turn into pillows.
At your feet,
Want
you hear clink, 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 clink. And there's a few small necklaces and pendants. One's actually fairly small, looks like an anklet or a bracelet of some sort, all having similar pendants to the man that is talking to Lily. In the back of your head, Tori, you hear, maybe this. So the eye is giving you what it knows from the new magics it's seen.
I say, thank you kindly. Well, I'll show you some cool things soon. And I flutter up out of the bag. Well, I pick up the things and flutter up out of the bag.
Chat, I'm just realizing that I've given my party essentially a genie. They just need to find new things for it. So that's fun. All right, so you flutter up out of the bag with the pendants.
And I'll pass them out to Fizz and to Glenn because we're standing there, to Eljor. Be like, look,
thank you.
These came from that little eye inside there. The little one's probably mine. No, I'll put it on.
Shiny.
As you're all putting it on, you're kind of looking across one another. Lily's still engaged with the conversation up ahead, and it's still going on a little bit. You do notice on one another that on Eljor's left elbow, from about mid bicep to mid forearm, it seems to be a bit more woven on his nature. The tail of Fizz is a bit woven, and as you come out of the bag, Corey, you notice that your wings are feeling a little funny. They're starting to have woven nature up the bottom side of the wings.
Not me tails.
So you're all starting to get a little bit of the transformation. But as you place the amulets on, you realize that you kind of feel a slight burn around that area, as if it's protecting and keeping that transformation from moving forward. It doesn't hurt so much as it just kind of makes its presence known to something happening there. Now, Lily's still engaged in conversation with the man, the sword at her chest and throat area in a very menacing manner. And she just asked a question. The man covers the pendant and responds that it's his and there's none like it. And Lily is still attempting to get more information out of him, but he's shutting down the questions as quickly as he can. From all you can tell, the unshaven nature, much like myself, is how the man is looking right now. So he may have been in this area for many years, many days. There it is. Corey's got the blue beard going on, so he's been here quite some time. So his reaction may be a bit more selfish and frustrated than like intimidating and pressuring. So Lily, if you want to try and ask anything more, you might have to roll some persuasion or deception or intimidations.
Listen, I didn't come here to intimidate you in any way. I was just trying to get some answers, and you have answered some of my questions, but I have a few more. Please answer them.
You're gonna become one of them, so whatever.
Who is the ruler of this land?
Well, many of the kingdoms, much like mine and wherever you're from, most likely have kings and rulers. These people exist. They seem to be a mirror universe. I believe I found my hometown once. It was quite eerie to walk through. But if you're speaking of, like, God or deity, well, I don't know.
Okay. Why are these goblins different than those goblins?
Well, the time I've spent here, I've created and changed and adapted these to, hopefully find more things to find my route home.
And what's your goal in life?
He looks at you questioningly. To live?
To live as a human? Or as a teddy bear?
He backs up at that as he sees that as a form of intimidation, human or teddy bear. As he does, he throws his satchel back behind him a bit more and puts both hands on his sword and stares at you. And through gritted teeth, he says, I would expect you to leave now, or I may strike you down so you may not feel the change.
Sure. I'll leave. I got everything I wanted.
He quickly grabs the pendant at his chest and checks his bag, and it seems that everything's in order. And he laughs and kind of starts getting up towards mounting the dragon and looks at you. Well, everything you wanted was to answer some questions before you become a part of this world.
Absolutely.
So be it. And he hops up on his dragon and just sits there and watches you and grins a little bit. And he points at your foot again. It seems you might not even have a day. And at this point, you're feeling a little itchiness, as if like you're wearing a woolen sock, and it's kind of halfway up your calf now that the woven change has taken place. And then on your other foot, the tip of your boot is being woven at this point.
Okay. I'd like to return to the party.
As you hustle back into the brush, you hear a voice. Oh, there's more of you. If you wish to surrender your things, I won't have to hunt you down for them, he yells to the group.
Not interested. Have a good day.
So Lily's returned. The party is together again. You have all overheard some of this.
I give Lily the amulet, the last one.
What's this?
The eye inside. Inside Fizz's bag said we might not turn into pillows if we wear these.
That's awesome. Thank you. So I put it on.
As you put it on, you feel burning kind of at the edges of where the weaving has gotten to. Again, like the others had felt, kind of as a nature of like your body's kicking in and saying, no, stop. You notice that it seems to not be moving any further up your legs.
Great. I love that feeling.
What is it that you do, party?
So did you find anything out?
I mean, the guy's been here a while. He said this happens to everybody who comes in. Everybody just kind of stumbles in and then they just turn. And he was threatening me. And of course, he's got an amulet that allows him to stay how he is. And he didn't want to give it to me. No, I don't think he knows. Otherwise, I think he would have left.
Oh, I should have just asked that eye for a doorway.
I tried to find out if, like, there was a higher power here. There doesn't seem to be one. He said this is kind of like a mirror image of the world that we came from. So if we adventure, we may find the castle that we came out of.
But if it's a mirror image, that doesn't mean there's going to be a doorway, just that there's going to be a reflective version of that place there.
Yeah.
Not necessarily a way home. I don't...
Yeah. He said that he found his village, but he clearly didn't find a way out, so...
Wait, like his village? Like...
Yeah.
A pillow version of it?
Yeah.
Neat.
creepy.
Cuddly, right?
So,
I mean, it's still neat. It's creepy, but neat.
yeah. So, I don't know how we're supposed to get out of here.
There's only one more path.
As you're discussing, you hear some thumping and thudding behind you as if something larger is running up towards you. Larger as in humanoid size, not as in like small goblin pitter-patter. Anyone who turns will see the woman you had met earlier hustling up to you. Her right arm is barely hanging on at the shoulder, and it seems like it'd been tugged on, and she'd been in a bit of a battle. And as you look and see her, you see that there's some smoke and flames throughout the town. That the goblins may have kind of overrun parts of the town or have gotten further in. And she runs up to you, and she's got a piece of very tattered paper, and it's like fluttering it in your faces and pointing at it. And as you all look, you see that this piece of paper has a very roughly drawn version of like a stack of pillows in a very like castle-like formation. And she's pointing at that, and she kind of points at you and puts her hand out in a question.
I mean, that's how we got in here.
Oh, we came through a tent.
Oh, wait a minute.
Within the
Wait.
castle.
Wait. What if there's this universe's version? We know there's the town, so what if there's the castle, and inside the castle, there's the tent that brought us here? Will we go into double pillowverse, or will we go backwards if we go into that tent?
It's
If
And maybe
we
there's a
get
Pillow
into
King in a box. And also, we could map the Pillow Castle.
I mean, we could always try it. But, like Eljor said, there's a likelihood that it leads to nothing.
That's true.
Well, do we notice, GMDM, do we notice any similarities? Like, would there be a village that we would recognize from where we were from that looked similar to the one we just came from?
From where
we
you
could
were
maybe
at.
try and put our...
Yeah, from where you were at and what you understood of this area, none of you seems to be very familiar with this specific setting. At least there hasn't been a village any of you have entered that looks like this. To the best of any of your knowledge, the way the trees are, the mountains in the distance, and some of the farmland, you would guess that potentially it could be a part of your land, maybe 2 days, 3 days travel by foot to the north of Crystal Keep.
I share that information.
Okay. It's worth a try. Maybe
Say
we
we
should
get
go check it
walking.
out.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm Swedish now.
That's his costume, everybody. And because some of you listen in without visuals, our costumes are all different accents. Just kidding.
Oh, man. Sure you want me to do that? I'll just sound like Dirk Bentley the whole time.
Oh, jeez. Sexy
Or I
tractors
could
and
sound
all.
like a Canadian.
Oh,
you
jeez.
Those are also limited. All
Wouldn't
right,
do.
guys, let's make our way to that village and make sure not to make anybody mad there, eh?
The only accent I'm capable of is allowing my Kentucky accent to come through.
Oh no. Okay, let's not do accents.
When the husband says, "Oh no," you go, "Okay."
Yeah.
Alright.
So you begin to walk to the south, or at least attempt to do a few days trek to the south.
Yep.
Mhm.
Rations. How many do we have in our packs, everybody? Do we have enough for a couple days, or are we on empty?
I've got 1 day
one day.
But I've got good berries.
Yay! We're
Also,
good.
technically, if you have a 1-day ration, you're a fairy. That's 1 day's ration for a medium-sized creature. Just saying.
Is it? Or does he get a fairy-sized ration?
Yeah, I mean.
Well, I don't know why he would
'Cause he
still have to pay
couldn't-
5 gold for it if it's this much food. You
Well,
know?
like,
Carry-
how could he carry a full-sized ration?
If he carries one, that's like you carrying 6 rations for yourself.
Then it's gotta be like a silver instead
Well,
of
again,
5 gold.
A good berry's 10 berries, and each berry is worth like a day's
This
sustenance.
whole day, yeah, you'll be fine.
I don't even know why I bought the ration.
He thought it'd be
Uh,
fun.
It seemed like a good idea at the time.
Well, you all begin traveling south. On your route, the first day's walk, you encounter a few pillow people that shy away from you, move off the road. Some actually run away in fear. You're able to get a full rest on one of your first evenings, so feel free to hit your full rest button.
Wait, I get things when I get a long rest. I need to
Yeah. You need a minute? Go for it. I'll continue to talk.
Okay.
So you walk almost a second day, and you're all starting to be a bit more familiar with the area. You think it's about another half day's travel. The roads are eerily quiet. The sound that you normally hear from horses and carts, you don't hear as a horse and a cart pass you here and there, all fluff filled. And as you begin to think you're within the last hour or two of travel to Crystal Keep, and you come across the mountain where you'd see the large castle, the dragon that you had met a couple days prior drops down in front of you. The man hops off.
Oh! Is this the older brother?
The older brother.
Did remember there was rumors that the king killed his brother? Maybe he didn't kill him, he just pushed him into a tent and he disappeared.
Oh.
He didn't seem like he knew what that blanket was, though.
Maybe he didn't remember. Maybe he's been here that long, or he
Maybe
just
he
like
was
it
drunk.
messes with his memory. Sorry, I
No,
didn't
like
mean to
the
interrupt.
king. Like the king saw the blanket and just threw it to the side like it was a
He was
dirty
also
rag.
super drunk.
He's also super not smart.
He
Yeah.
was a young, very idiotic, drunk kid, essentially,
I
from
still-
what you recall, yes.
I don't think he would have intentionally pushed him into the tent because I don't think he knows.
But
Plus,
maybe
it's
somebody else could have.
assuming. That's assuming you've seen it before too.
Well, to continue this meta discussion, because it's fun, the king did know all about the stash and was digging through. Like, he was digging for something in that bin. So he was at least aware mildly of everything there. Just to refresh that in your memories. But the dragon drops in front of you, and the man jumps off and rushes over, sword drawn, ready to swing, and shouting out, "How did you not change? What have you done?" And he looks across the group
What are you talking
and,
about?
and sees that most of you are pretty much unchanged compared to him, who's over half changed.
He's like, I used my fairy magics.
I do magic
Magic?
too.
So do I.
What do you know about this place? What have you learned?
Nothing.
Have you found a way out?
If we
You
found a
told
way
me to
out,
keep
would
it
we
to
still be
yourselves.
here?
Learn that someone's very concerned with themselves.
Wink,
And I like
wink.
I point over at the guy.
Right. Truth hurts, doesn't it, friend?
Here's the
Well.
thing. You told us everything we needed to know. That's it.
Give me whatever magics you possess. Maybe
Give?
I can return home.
Give you? Is that really the
Well,
way
you
you
can
ask for help? Or something that
Come
you
with
need
us.
to leave?
I thought we could be pals. I mean, I asked you what your life goal was, and you just brushed me off. We got
He-
deep, man.
He
Deep.
sticks his sword in the ground, and it sinks a bit deeper than just like sticking it into dirt. So it goes about halfway down into the ground, and he walks up towards the group and eyes all of you, and then he points back behind him, not even looking. Why are you returning to this castle?
Why
Going
would
back
you
to your
say it like
village.
this castle?
Well,
Wait,
This-
did we walk in a
What's
circle?
so special about this castle?
this castle is
Why do you-
important to me.
I want to
In
see the
what way?
festival in pillow form.
Oh, that would
I
be
want to
wonderful.
see the festival in pillow form.
Hello, fireworks sounds like a mess.
Oh, it'd be so
Fluff.
much
I
fun, though.
want to be there.
Fluff everywhere.
Oh, wait, why is this castle important to you?
Well, let's just say a little meta bird told me something.
A meta bird?
What is a meta bird?
I think you mean a metal bird, right? Meta.
No, I think
Right.
he means a Facebook bird. Haha, burn.
Bird.
A
Zuckerberg.
bird of face.
It's called a Twitter.
Oh.
He looks across all of you. This was once my castle where I came from.
So, we may know how to get you back, but you have to be nice.
Yeah.
I've left
Your
my
Majesty.
sword behind. What is it that you know?
That you need to stop being rude.
It's literally
not.
free to be kind.
$0.
We're gonna try to get back.
Well,
Would you like to come with us?
I've spent, from what I recall, based on the days and nights here, 6 years or so. I wish not to be here anymore.
Do you have a 15-year-old brother? Maybe 14, something like that?
No, my brother was 20.
So,
So we're gonna go and see if there's a secret passage to get back.
I think
Similar
I
to the
think
same
maybe
way
you've
we
been
got
in
here.
here longer than you thought.
Well, whatever you know, and he drops his satchel down. He's got like 6 or 7 books. Some bindings are really old and falling apart. Some are fairly new. And he starts pulling them out. He goes, "I've collected these things. They talk about dimension travel, but this," and he pulls a small journal out and he flips it open, and it's got drawings of a few different like tents and forts and other things that look childish and cartoonish. And he's looking through them, and at the back there's like 6 or 7 pages ripped out. This seems to be from or for this dimension. And he's flipped very quickly through the book. None of you were able to quite catch what was in it, but just enough to see that it was definitely other structures similar to this land.
Well, we indeed, if I can be frank, came through something that looked like those. We were hoping to find its opposite, maybe, in the castle. Hopefully.
Well,
Another
What-
portal, something like that.
what was it you came through? And he slowly starts flipping through. I've got pillow structures of all sorts. I've got blanket structures. I've got forts. I've
There you
got
go.
I
Blanket.
think it was a portal.
It was a blanket.
I
Blanket.
came through a
yes.
blanket, and he flips through. He looks. To the best of my knowledge, here's all of the blankets. And the first one he opens up looks somewhat like a circus tent. Was it this? Flips through a few more and
Hmm.
asks, "Was it this?" And they were very unsimilar. And on the very last page, a very simple pup tent, very similar. He looks down and looks at you, and as you all get a little bit excited, this is what you came through.
Well, I mean, like, sort of, but ours was, like,
Absolutely.
dirtier and more torn up.
Old.
Where did you come through it at?
No. Sorry, you don't get to know that.
Nope. She shuts him down immediately.
But
That's not pertinent
could come with us.
information.
Well, it
I
is
can't
said,
tell you, but you can come with us.
It is said that this and he looks at the rest of you. Wherever you've gotten those pendants, these pendants and the page together can bring you back to your land.
Oh, so can we have the page then?
He pulls the book back just a little bit. Have you seen any other books with drawings like this in your travels?
I've seen
No.
a lot of books.
No, you haven't.
I have.
I have this.
I am very learned. So,
Well, alright. He sets the book down and looks across the group. The pendant, if you place it on the page, should activate the proper portal if it is truly what you came through on. I saw one man
great.
return, and only one man. The rest have fallen here.
So only one person could go back.
Well, I only had the
One person
page
with
for
a
that
pendant.
person.
well, what if we all do it at the same time?
Yeah. I mean,
What
this is
if-
where you came from.
Can we all fit in your bag?
I mean, you were in there, I think. It's kind of crowded, but maybe.
It is, but
I think
It wouldn't be for
Ellsworth would
long.
have the hardest trouble, so maybe if I went in there.
Well, you each have a pendant, and you can each place it on the page. You
Oh.
each can get your trip home, but as I said, only one person has found a page of what they've actually traveled through. Mine is sadly not in here.
But we already identified the page.
Yes. So he lets out a huff and he sets it down. If it's truly your exit, he backs up. Set your pendant on the page of what you wish to exit on. Fizz, as you drop your pendant on, Fizz and only Fizz sees a pup tent pop up right next to her, with the door that's kind of flapping open, and you can kind of see into the same room you had left from.
Cool! Come on, guys! And I like go rushing in.
You rush through it. And as the rest of you watch, Fizz just kind of dives into midair, and you hear a slurp and then a pop, and then she's just gone. You didn't see the tent. You didn't see her enter the tent. She just popped right through.
And I get there and I'm
Mint.
like, dang it, now I don't have that necklace.
Fizz, on the other side, the tent that you had come through is just flat on the floor, and all of the zombie goblins are just kind of lumped on the ground, fluff everywhere. It seems to be within a matter of minutes of your time leaving that you have returned. The rest of you are there. Fizz's pendant sits on the page. Fizz is nowhere to be seen in the pillow world.
I'm ready. I'd like to drop my pendant.
As you drop the pendant, you two see the same thing. You see a little pup tent pop up next to you. The rest don't see it. Through the door, you do see Fizz, as if you're sitting in the same spot the tent was in the room. On Fizz's side, she sees nothing other than the tent flat on the ground.
And I
Really?
go through.
As you go through, there's a slurp and a pop on the pillow side, and much the same in reverse, and Lily just kind of pops into existence in front of Fizz.
I'm walking over to the blanket though, and I'm like kicking it
As,
Like,
as you're kicking
backing
it, like
away.
Lily pops right in front of you. Fizz lets out a scream. It is now down to Eljor and Corey and the man with the book.
Corey, why don't you go through? I have an idea that might help our friend return home. Unless you have another way, because obviously, I think he's only like this.
No,
because he's
I
been
mean-
stuck here with nobody.
Do we know that they got home? Like,
I assume so.
whatever. Let's
think we
let's
can-
see. Let's see.
Whatever.
Man who runs into tents by themselves quickly without planning things wants to stay behind. All right.
Do you want to
I'll
hear
put
my
my-
plan? Oh,
No. Now put my amulet.
No. Corey's like, I'm out. You get the same exact
Bye.
scene as the rest. If you wish to enter, it's the same exact exit and entrance. Corey popping out on the other side.
Sweet.
If that is what you wish, Corey is gone, and now Eljor, you are standing with the man who looks at you for a second and sees your hesitation. And he goes and picks up the amulets and puts them in his bag, and you see there's a few other amulets sitting in the bag as well.
so you've seen other people go home, and you've been stuck here.
Yes, I've helped a few others go home. This amulet is the last that I've found, and I hope it's my ticket home when I find my page.
Well, what did you come through?
Well, my brother and I used to build castles of all things. And, well, we built a castle one day and the door
Out of
started
pillars?
glowing. Yes, as out of pillars, as youngsters in palaces do.
What was your brother's name? One more time.
Well, that's personal information I wish not to share.
I mean, if I get through and it is your brother, I was going to relay a message if you wanted me to, in case what I want to do doesn't work. But I think it might.
He looks at you and kind of grins a bit. Well, if the young whelp's still alive, well, he goes by the name of Plague. That's our family name.
I recognize that name.
Yeah, you immediately recognize it. You had met the young king Norol Plague, who had
Mhm.
just recently assumed the throne. He goes by Norol Plague the Fifth, or King Plague the Fifth.
This guy's
Sorry.
been here for a long time.
So King
gosh.
King Plague the Fifth is what he goes by. So whatever family lineage and how they hand down their numbering. The current king, who is the drunk youngster, is King Plague the Fifth, and this man seems to be a brother of a plague.
Okay. Is there a backside to the pages in the book? Presumably something that's, blank, right?
Each side of the drawings.
Yeah, inside the book.
Yes, and he flips it over, and on like the second or third page, there's a missing drawing here and there, and it seems to be missing in certain sections where there may be something to add.
Why don't we just draw it in here? Try to think about what your pillar fort looked like, right? Your pillar fort, the castle, and draw it on. Can't hurt to try. Simple enough.
He sits there for a few moments and thinks about it, and looks at you and goes, "Well, if you have the implements, then that would be great, but I never traveled with utensils for drawing or sketching."
Is there any? Because we're.
Oh no,
close-
are you trapped over
okay.
here with nothing to draw?
Mm,
He doesn't even have
no.
the paper.
Inventory. I have a tinderbox and a torch. So I have charcoal. Feasibly.
All right.
I mean, now's not
is
the
that
time to be
fair?
looking for a date, but
You have Tinder box. All right, so
I just
Uh,
got it. I'm so sorry.
I took me half a second as well. So yeah, I mean, you could feasibly make some charcoal for drawing. You could burn tips of sticks to get like rough
Yeah.
implementations.
Yeah, and
Um,
just something that he can put markings on to make, he can rub it on the top of the used torch to like
Yeah.
get charcoal and then kind of work it on.
Yeah, he thinks and sits there and like counts in his mind a few times. And as I've done some of his history rolls, he nods his head after a few minutes and goes, I think I've got it. I may be a pillow off, but I think that's in the back. And he sits down and starts using some of the implements that you've given him, and he draws a bit, and he sits there and puts like the final line on, and then he laughed for a second and goes, huh. We did have a pup that ran around through the palace, and he'd always pull a pillow, and so there was a pillow that he drew next to it, shredded. And he's like, there was always one pillow that wouldn't make it, but hopefully this is enough. And he sets the page down, and he looks at you and goes, would you like to return home first, or shall I try?
I mean, if you're comfortable leaving the book, I'm comfortable waiting my
If-
turn.
If
You've
I can
waited long
return,
enough.
if I can return, I'm comfortable leaving everything, including. And he walks over to the dragon and pats him on the head, and kind of motions up to the sky. And the dragon takes flight and takes a long arc
Wait.
around,
Wait.
and comes back as like you're screaming, and the kind of flutters above you a moment and watches.
I might be able to bring you.
The dragon?
I believe Misty Step works with another creature, doesn't it? Oh no, it doesn't.
It does.
Dang it.
I don't
when
think
you get
so.
leveled up or something, it can.
I think later on in its levels it might, or there's another one similar to Misty Step that does.
But it's a
Invisibility
class
does.
feature, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh man.
Let me
so-
make sure because
Yeah.
Okay.
The
just a
dragon
second.
will circle for a few minutes. See if you can bring a dragon back.
You teleport. Just you.
You teleport.
Self.
Good idea. I'm sure there's something else for it. If only.
Oh, he's intelligent, right? How did the
Yeah.
dragon get here? I am going to cast Comprehend Languages to find out.
Okay.
What about that
As you cast
spell?
comprehend languages, the dragon's flying overhead, and you hear something along the lines of, these pitiful little creatures are asking me to wait. What is it that they want from me? And he flutters around. He goes, I could just snack one of them up if I wanted to.
You want to eat things again? Not me
Wait.
made of fluff.
Wait. You're speaking my language. How is it that, you're speaking my language?
Magic. You know this. Something that exists outside of pillows and fluff. Do you want to go back to the real world where you can have your hoard made of actual gold, not fluffy, coin-looking things?
I was woven here
Oh.
as a young dragon pup. I look forward to returning to my hoard of golden stitched medallions and many things. But I do seek new treasure and new lands. What do you offer me?
I'm not sure if you can come through.
The dragon drops right in front of you, and the man with you kind of looks up as he's placed his pendant on the page. You see him kind of look over, and his jaw drops as he may be seeing his way home. And he looks at the dragon and looks at whatever it is in front of him, and he goes diving in. You hear the slurp plop, and he goes disappearing into the thin air, and it's you and the dragon.
Did he give me the book?
The book is there. The book is left.
Okay,
He's
good.
left
I was
the
like,
book, he's
oh
left the
no,
pendant.
I'm actually
He's
a
left
pillow
his bags. the sword is still stuck in the ground. Like, this man basically saw a way home and just chased it for all his being.
Oh, I'm definitely gonna grab all of his stuff because
Okay.
he'll
Yeah.
at least I'm interested in what he has been doing for the last several years. Oh, hi,
Yeah.
Donna.
Oh, hi, dog.
He just ran through with a toy because he's a goofball.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, so I want to say to the dragon, because you don't get to talk to dragons very often, even if they're fluffy. If this is your home, then I wouldn't take you from it. But I do thank you for looking after the king, the whatever royalty he is. Hopefully, he was a good companion.
The dragon looks at you for a second and then looks down. Well, I am the last of my kind here, so may I see your land if possible?
I want to try something. I'm hopeful.
Okay.
I think it's just kind of a touch thing. I don't really think the actual space of it matters. If that makes sense. You are a dragon. Where I come from, dragons can become smaller beings, yes? So, can you become a humanoid, something similar to my height?
As you're looking at the dragon, he shakes his head and looks up at you. A party trick. And he turns into a small stuffed version of himself, like even more plushy, like big beady eyes that kind of roll around, short stubby legs, like super what you'd like to pick up at the store for a niece or nephew type dragon, even fuzzier than he was. And he drops down into that form, and he isn't moving. Like it's very much a stuffed version at this point.
Why do you hold?
Sub.
We have a sub. Thank you, Beast of Burden. Welcome. You with your sub
Became the hype boss.
become the hype boss as we're having some fun here. That means
I've
you
known
get to pick
Beast of Burden
somebody.
since I was in college. He's a good guy.
So you get to pick somebody other than Glenn. No, just kidding. You get to pick somebody on screen who gets a nat 20. They get to keep it until they use it, meaning when they get told to roll a d20, they can actually say, nope, that's a 20. I'm using it as that. So feel free to choose someone on screen, even if it is our dear old Glenn. That's fine. It's fine. DM's got a few things ready in his back pocket, so don't worry. Feel free to pick somebody on screen. You can call them out by name, character name, or that guy, position 1, 2, 3, or DM, whatever it is. But yeah, we have a stuffed dragon now that isn't moving, isn't speaking, has dropped right in front of Eljor, is very much a toy mentality.
Can you hear me?
Nothing is said, but you can kind of see the eyes roll just a little bit, as if in that form, he's even less alive.
Okay.
I want one.
I know, right? Well, I'm bringing him back. we're gonna have our friend here, and I'm gonna say, okay, well then you hold on because we're going home. And I'm gonna put my amulet on the journal with the tent.
Okay. As you do, you see the tent pop in front of you.
And you said there were several other medallions and stuff.
There
in
were a
his
few
bag, right?
medallions and books in his bag, but the journal's the only one that's open and has just your medallion and then his medallion shoved off to the side because you had to flip a few pages. The rest of the medallions from your group have been put into his bag.
I'm gonna put everything in the bag, all of it in the bag, including. Can I try and do a fun thing where I just slowly, like I hold the chain and close the book on it?
I need a sleight of hand or dexterity to see if you can do this.
I'm gonna use that 20.
All right.
So that's gonna be. If there's any time to use it, it's now, right?
There you go.
That's a 28.
28. You're able to close it, and you feel the pendant slide a little bit in there, but it's secure enough. The
tent
tent
stays.
does not go away. You are currently. We don't play overburdened, but I would say you are basically overburdened at this point with an
Okay.
extra bag with books and a dragon
Yeah.
stuffed animal, and you're holding this thing like you just came back from Disneyland or something. You're just like coming home from a fun vacation with too many souvenirs.
I'll stagger forward with my stuff and just like fall into the tent then.
As you fall into the
Holding
tent,
everything.
you end up kind of splaying out on the floor in the room in the castle that you were just at. And as you look around, and yeah,
Can I also, I don't know if this is too much. If I have to, I apologize. I want to have brought his sword because I assume that's important to his family.
I'm
I want to
writing
make sure
here-
he has it. Like
He
it's
has
like
to roll to make sure he doesn't fall on it.
I'm writing here. Glenn gets murdered next episode. Yeah.
who's the real
let's-
goblin? It's the elf.
It's the elf. Let's.
Sorry, I'm
have-
the real goblin. It's in my name, my bro.
Yeah, come on. Let's see. Let's have you roll a acrobatics check to see if you can balance it all and keep it all. in.
Oh, that's a 20 on the die. Let's go.
All right, you bring it back. You bring it
They
back.
came through when you needed it.
You bring
They
it
were
back.
so bad the whole session.
They sure did, yeah.
As you fall through, the sword drops to the ground. All of your stuff drops to the ground, and you look up, and the rest of the group is barely like seconds from seeing one another. You look around, and you feel like you hadn't left the room for more than maybe a minute or two at the absolute most, except for the fact that the additional goblins are dead on the ground out in the hallways. One of the guard comes walking around the corner with a flailing goblin in his hand as he's picked it up, and it seems to be one of the last of the sort. And you hear him yelling out, "Your Majesty, are you okay? King! King!" And the young king pops his head kind of up out of the metal bin that he was in, the chest, and looks across the group. I'm fine. Who are you two? And he points to the two women in the presence there that he hadn't seen prior.
Well, they were in that pillow fort thing we went into. We brought them back. Not a lie.
Well, okay. And he sits up straight and his eyes bug out a little bit, and he points. That sword. Where did you get that sword?
Is he not here?
No.
He saw the. Where's
the
his
man-
room? What's his name? Your Majesty, you had an older brother, yes?
Yes.
He disappeared, right?
Yes. And he starts looking a little fearful, especially seeing the sword on the ground, which he recognizes.
Where was the room you were playing in with him when you last saw him?
Well,
When the door began to glow?
we had a few too many drinks one night, and we decided to play one of our childish games, and it was in the parlor across the building.
I think you need to go there right now. Quickly.
He eyes the sword and like stumbles kind of out of the room, both out of fear and a little bit out of inebriation, and looks at the group. You can see yourselves out. The guard will get you. Okay. And he hustles down the hall. You're all left standing there. Plushy dragon, a royal sword, a bag of books, and some dead pillow goblins. The guard standing there with the pillow goblin flailing in hand just pulls a dagger from his side and just stabs the goblin up through his head and cuts the head off, and it drops to the ground in like a fluff. And you hear him yell down the hall, "We got more of a mess down here to clean up. More of these things."
I'll help. And I'll flutter forward and just start throwing fireballs, produce flames at him.
As you're tossing produce flames at these things, they go up very quick as like a flash paper. And here is where we'll end our evening, as they're cleaning up the castle and we are back out of Spoopy Town.
Well, we've ingratiated ourselves to both kings. Haha.
Sir Ahoy, did you have anyone lined up that we're raiding tonight? Because we want to send some love to another channel.
I can do it one time.
All right, so
Crag is on. We can go visit Crag.
yeah, let's go hang out and see Crag. What we're gonna do is we're gonna go tell Crag how much we love Carball tonight, or is it something else?
Carball, yeah.
Carball. Sweet.
Hardball.
You mean Rocket
so-
League?
So if you're playing Rocket League at all and you want to play with some other streamers, Crag plays with people who watch sometimes. So
Can't
go say
stop
hi.
me.
Go let them know that Here Be Dragon sent you. Go to our Instagram and register for our giveaway. And we will be seeing you next week for our next show. So I can't see the countdown, so send us off to Carball, and see you next week, everybody.